Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the MinnMax Show podcast, place about games, friends, getting better. My name is Ben Hansen. Thank you all for being here. Very special episode today. I'm joined by Leo Vader.
Hello.
Joined by Sarah Podzorski.
Hello.
Joined by Janek Garcia.
Hello. My voice is not back yet.
It's good. It sounds like you're seasoned by the
That's
world.
nice of you to say.
I think it sounds great. This is a fun special episode because we're unpacking Summer Game Fest. And I hear you at home. You might be saying, what's wrong with you? You've been unpacking Summer Game Fest for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, but not really, because we weren't there. We were just like looking at our phones and our monitors and just trying to imagine what it smelled like, what it felt like to shake Jeff Keighley's sweaty palms, you know, Leo?
If you thought you were hearing what Summer Game Fest was like, you have been lied to.
That's right. This is the only place to learn it. So we're going to unpack everything from these three folks' big trip out there, all the games they played, and then, of course, we have some community questions in the back half of this episode. And here's the thing. Because we like you all who are watching or listening, there are timestamps for every episode of the MinnMax Show podcast. So if you're like, why are they talking about this event that I didn't get to go to? I think this is bad. You can jump right to our previews and actually our thoughts on specific games if you want to do that. There are timestamps below for you. All right, fun live episode. Hey, it's the three of you. You're back home.
We are.
It's so weird seeing like Janet and Leo on my computer screen and not in person. I'm like, free my friends. After seeing them for 6 days in a row, I'm like, why are they in my screen?
I feel like if you guys are familiar with those, maybe it's not that popular of a thing, but sometimes like religious schools, like elementary or high schools, will have like these like sleepaway camp moments where they're supposed to like make you cry by telling you how much your parents love you, and it's like this big religious awakening thing, and a lot of people cry during it. Like, shout out to Cristo Rey High School in Chicago, Illinois, because a lot of people cry at that school. I felt like, while it wasn't intentionally trauma-inducing, I felt like me, Leo, and Sarah all went through like that kind of shared bonding experience of like, I'm 8 layers deep with these people who like previously, I mean, I hung out with y'all during the Trek to Shrek, but this was like on another stratosphere.
Because it was more like work focused, I'd imagine. Like just hanging out and just wandering around looking at a waterfall in Minnesota. But when it's like, hey, who has this appointment, scheduling this and this and this, it feels like you're a little more in the, I don't want to say trenches because it has a, you know, World War I vibe where millions of people died, but more like a small ditch, you know?
Yeah, we fell into a pit a little bit.
Yeah, Sarah, what'd you learn about Janet and Leo? They're not listening.
The wildest thing that I learned about Leo is that the man uses so much ketchup. I have never seen someone use so much ketchup. And I also learned that like menus sometimes overwhelm Leo. He takes a little bit to get through a menu.
Right.
And like that's things that I would never learn about Leo through the computer screen.
Right. Even in the vlog, it'll be edited from when I pick up the menu to when I place the order.
Exactly.
Yeah, we should mention that I mean, I guess I haven't really talked too much about it. In theory, you all recorded a ton of stuff for a whole travelogue about your trip to Summer Game Fest.
Ton of stuff.
In theory, yeah.
In theory.
And whatever thoughts we share here or on Party Chat on Monday, it's going to pale in comparison to the thoughts we were sharing live as it was going. And plus, Sarah and I did basically a full wrap-up podcast at the hotel at the end of the week.
Really? Oh, that's so
with
sweet.
our margaritas. So.
Oh my God, that sounds so good. So the basic idea is Leo's going to be editing that. In addition to, we're also going to have a travelogue about their trip to Super Nintendo World. Thanks everybody for supporting us on Patreon. For all this existing in the first place, but then also to hit that Patreon goal so you guys got to go to Super Nintendo World. So those travelogues are going to be coming up in the near future on MinnMax's YouTube channel if you want to see what it's actually like. Let us take you on a tour since it's all because of your support anyway. But the wrinkle is there's also the extended cut, where it's just pretty much, here's all the footage we took. If you want to live as much of this experience as possible, we're putting it in a timeline, gablah, and that's available for all $10 supporters. And Leo, I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but do you have a time frame for when that might be available for folks?
Next week, I can say confidently, and that'll be before the edited version because it'll be a lot easier to make.
Yeah.
So that'll be... Yeah, just works out that way.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to you, and it's like, oh yeah, hopefully it doesn't feel like nickel and diming people, but it's genuinely like, it's going to take a while to edit hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, but like for the full sequence, yeah, we can give that to you early. So if you want to support MinnMax at the $10 tier and live the last week with these three, that sounds good. Is there a tease of kind of the highlight of the travelogue, you think? Not the event, maybe. We'll get to that.
Instagram.com/MinnMax Show with 2 N's.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a tease. It's on our page. It's a mini travelogue essentially, but from my point of view. So obviously I don't get like, though Sarah tossed a couple stories in there too. I kind of wish maybe we did more of that. There's a lot of things I think we wish we maybe did more of or did slightly different, but overall, like I think we absolutely killed it with the amount of content that we made. Like I think it's going to be awesome. And Leo, thank you for editing this, because I feel really bad because the whole time I'm like, rip to whoever's editing this. And I didn't think that'd be you. I thought it'd be some other schmuck. So thank you for falling on it, Sword.
Yeah, the schmuck is unavailable, unfortunately. But it makes some sense to like, I'll remember a little bit of where the highlights were.
The only good thing is it's like you kind of have the bigger perspective because you were there. So it's like, okay, well, you like lived it and now you relive it. Please lower all my audio levels, please. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
Highlight for me has got to be having food poisoning in the middle of the Prince of Persia.
Oh my god.
Wait, really?
I think
You'll have to watch the travelogue to see how that panned out.
And it gets graphic,
That was a shocker.
everybody. So, I mean, the unedited version is extremely unrated as well. So get ready.
No, it has been rated R. It has. We sent it first.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Sarah, it feels weird. Believe it or not, it was like, I had so many emotions over the last week. It is such a weird thing, and I want to unpack it all. But it's so weird just to be like, oh, the three are doing stuff. That's so cool. I'm so curious what they're doing. At the same time, like, I want to check in, but I have nothing to check in about. It's like, just make the travelogue. That's our main thing. Okay, bye.
You watched our Instagram story.
Yeah.
I did.
We saw you creeping in them.
He was insta-stalking us.
I was a little bit.
Could see you in the views.
His own account.
I didn't watch all of them, if I'm being honest. They all seem great.
How dare you? Well, there's always time. There's still time to go back and rewatch them.
Yeah, I guess so. But Sarah, did you have fun at Summer Game Fest? What was your take?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun at Summer Game Fest. Like, I genuinely probably... I mean, I don't want to say too much fun, because it was also very tiring and exhausted.
Yeah.
But, like, I had more fun this year than I did last year, because I had, like, a squad this year. And we joked about it, but just, like, going all the way to LA just to hang out with people we live in the same state as.
Right.
We're like, this seems a little silly, but, like, I wouldn't want to hang out with anybody else.
They're all weird and confusing. But, like, you hung out with Anna Diaz a lot. She was there for Polygon.
Oh, yeah. We adopted Anna. You'll see in the travelogue. But she was there for a lot of it.
Oh,
there were 4
so
people
sweet.
there at MinnMax. And then the other person also changed. So we just always had a 4th person.
That's fun. What a weird thing. But hats off to you, Sarah. I was going to talk to you about it before we went live. But, I mean, you launched, like, the big trailer for Fields of Mystria, the game that you're working on social media-wise. Like, during this? Was it as stressful as it seemed? Or did you kind of set it and kind of forget it?
Absolutely. I was like, I would never do it again. I literally had to go out to the Giant Bomb couch and, like, you know, party at the fandom. Like, people were doing shots, and I was like, I'm sorry, I really can't do shots. I have to, like, launch a trailer at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Sorry, everybody. I have to be, like, the smallest semblance of responsible, and then, go back to the hotel, wake up at 7, like, you get your coffee, you check to make sure everything's in line. I saw someone on social media describe, like, launching anything in games on social media is, like, trying to fly a helicopter. Because, like, quite literally, I had, like, a hit list of, like, once the trailer drops, all of this has to go out in this exact order, or we will be screwed.
Like press releases, or what does that mean?
Well, it's like, you know, you got to put the YouTube video live. You got to make sure the links in the bios are correct. You got to send the tweet out. You got to make sure the tweet's pinned. Like, you got to make sure, like, your press kit's up, like, all up to date, because people will just take all of it and just throw it on their website. But they'll just be like, I don't know, this is what they had for free. So I would never do it again, but definitely a career highlight for me.
Yeah.
Was getting to be that one more thing in a wholesome direct, which, by the way, we didn't know about.
Really?
I was literally sitting there with the team on Discord, and we were like, where's our trailer? And then they were like saying goodbye, and we're like, okay, we're on the t-shirt.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Our character is on the t-shirt, so we have to be in this.
And then it was
they got us.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were the last one. And we were like, we're not the one more thing, are we? We can't. We think we're pretty cool, but we can't be the one more thing.
That's weird they wouldn't give you a heads up about that, because we were watching the live reaction. We're like, wasn't Sarah's game supposed to be in that? I saw it in the key art.
That's
like,
what I was saying too.
So
I was like,
weird.
where's our game?
Yeah. It honestly, it was a huge component of like Summer Game Fest. Like, I've devoured a lot of other outlets' coverage, and it's been fun. But like that Giant Bomb couch, like the fact that they kept that going, even though Gersman isn't there anymore, like it felt really like a nice social, at least, I mean, this is from my naive outside perspective, but kind of like a social hub for everybody, just a nice like anchor. And so listening to all those, it really felt like, oh God, emotionally, I feel like I'm there.
That was the coolest party too.
Yeah?
Like it had the best vibe. It was at a fandom office, and it was like the only lights on in the whole building were in that office, and it was so much cooler than like the industry Xbox sponsored mixers or whatever. To have this, it felt a little more communal.
Yeah.
People
Good
were
job.
going hard. It was fun.
Was it stressful, Leo? Like, I know beforehand you're like, oh God, going on the Bombcast, do I have to have my 5-minute shtick on the couch ready to go?
Yes, it was stressful, but I mean, we all did an amazing job. I think I was really impressed with everybody else on that panel, and the one thing that was on top of my mind was just like, don't take up too much space here. Like, if I get addressed or if I have something to chime in, do it occasionally, but don't be like more than 1/6 of this panel because I like respect
It's a lot of
everybody
people. It
else.
was like 6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
and that was
went by
tough.
so fast. Like I saw, like they had a big like the clock, and I was like, okay, it's only been 5 minutes. This is gonna be really long. And then all of a sudden, it was like, well, that's, thanks for tuning in. And I was like, hold on, wait a second. I feel like I just sat down.
I think
Right.
just like
And in hindsight, we were all like, we should have made that goofier. Like, Jeff Grubb wanted it to be a panel of like
The
young
meeting of
people
the
in the
minds.
industry and
Right.
and where the future is going and stuff. And we were like, all kind of looking forward to that more goofy vibe that it naturally
Yeah.
gets to later in the night. And I feel like that's my one regret is like, take the reins and get it there.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the tough thing. And I just had social anxiety watching a lot of Giant Bomb stuff just because, like, I love the industry. Everyone's very nice in it. It's a very humble industry, to be very clear. But at the same time, I think those types of social situations where it's a lot of, like, industry peers, I have this creeping pressure of, like, oh, this feels kind of like high school. And I feel like this pressure of, like...
Ooh. How was high school, Ben? Can you unpack that
I
a
had a
little
good
bit
time
more?
with high school, but still, there's a lot of like highs and lows and emotions with it. It's just this creeping feeling of like, if I was in a situation where I have to be a quote unquote personality, like I guess that's kind of my job, but at the same time, I'm kind of horrified by it. It's like I felt anxious, just like if I was there, it would have to be socially tap dancing so much, and it stressed me out. But the three of you seem very cool. It seemed like no one was like, I'm on Giant Bomb, I'm a personality, here I go. When that was kind of, the tone of other
That's what
parts
I
of that
said
segment.
actually right before I sat on the couch.
Is that right? Verbatim?
And then Leo can attest to this. I became a menace after I sat on the Giant Bomb couch. I was like, I was on the Giant Bomb couch. Like,
That's so
why
cute.
did I was my ego immediately
Yeah.
got a
Sarah
little
Couch
inflated.
Mazorsky? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Uber driver, do you know who I am?
Yeah, excuse
From
me.
3 hours ago.
No, but
Celebrity sighting, and it was just me looking in the mirror. Yeah.
it is. I mean, not to just make this the Giant Bombcast or the podcast about the Giant Bombcast, but it is like, it's amazing that like you had a tweet there where you're like, oh, I feel cool actually getting to go to the Giant Bombcast. Or maybe you said it on the actual show too, but it is such a weird feeling to be like, oh, just have like this classic E3 institution where you feel like you've officially made it. Like we don't really have an award to give out in the game industry. Like you are now a member of the games press, but I feel like sitting on that Giant Bomb couch is about the best we can do. So it's nice to still have that rolling in this day and age. I thought Grubb did a great job hosting all that stuff.
He did. It was surreal. It was super, super fun.
Yeah. Did you have a good time, Janet?
Yeah, it was great. Like, did the Giant Bomb couch specifically?
I don't know.
like
Just
the
the
whole
whole thing. Yeah, whole thing.
Yeah, it was really fun. I lost my voice a couple times. It's funny, someone in the live chat was like, watching Janet's voice throughout the days was so funny. I rewatched the Instagram stories and was like, in the clips, I'm like, yeah, I think it's going to be okay. But then I look back at the clips and every day I'm like, every day it gets a little bit worse. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I see this coming? It's so obvious. But I was inside of the day, so I didn't really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was my first SGF. It was a blast. It was cool having Sarah as like a second timer. I feel like this was, no offense to everybody else, I think we have like a very generally diverse crew in terms of like game taste, like across MinnMax. But I felt like so lucky to be like with you guys because there's like, Sarah has skills that like I don't have. We overlap the most on interest between like the three of us. Like I had this thing color coded and like I had a lot of overlap with Sarah, and like me and Leo had one overlap for a game that we were not equipped to see. So that'll be the case. But it was nice being able to send us all in different directions and know I'm gonna get good coverage. Like I'd see stuff come in and be like, oh yeah, this is totally a Leo game. And then, outside of the nuts and bolts of the work itself, just seeing everybody. Like I really didn't realize how much I had previously not really known many people, like back in 2019 when my career was first starting in a full-time capacity. Well, in a full-time you can eat well capacity, or you can order a sandwich capacity, because I was full-time freelance when I started, and that was like hell on earth, and I made like $500 a month when back in those days. And then coming here and being like, oh, I like kind of know everybody, and not like in a conceited way, but just like there's so many people that I'm like Twitter mutuals with, or I've done content with, and then the people that I haven't, like they know who I am a lot of times, and that's also very cool. So it was like always exciting to see people. While my memory of E3 as like, especially as a newcomer, was like it's very tall, and I sort of like would latch on to like whatever my IGN peer was, and they knew people, and I was like there. You know what I mean? They were like hi, and I was like. They're like, this is also Janet, this other person, you know? And now I just feel like more comfortable, more part of it. It's also easier to, I think, be socially comfortable for me in a setting like that because it's all games people, as opposed to other social settings where someone's like, wait, what do you do? And I'm like, I work at a desk. Like, don't ask me about it too much. Not because I'm embarrassed, but just because it gets like weirdified. But here it's like, everyone has a baseline understanding of what we do and what it takes. And there's like a camaraderie to that that's really exciting. So I had a great time.
Yeah. How was it compared to last year, Sarah? Socially better, but just the overall event.
Oh, they expanded it.
Okay.
So they expanded it, and it was like, it really filled out nice. There was little spots all over the place for you to kind of like mingle. Yeah, just like more games, more people, and then they had the sort of like add-ons, as you know, right? So it's like they had like the Xbox thing, the Ubisoft Forward, the Square Enix event. So it's like it's kind of becoming an E3, and we're just like not gonna call it that. Like I feel like as time goes on, people will just like attach their events to this event. Like while you're in LA, please consider, which is kind of annoying because why couldn't we just do E3, you know?
Yeah, because I guess the ESA would have to be involved in a bigger way.
I think the venue for Summer Games Fest is way better. You get to see the sun.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Big fan
like,
of the
you get to go outside. Like, a lot of it is, like, outside in a way.
It felt like a state fair or something.
State fair?
Like, different pop-up buildings to, like, you're walking between, but it's all got fresh air.
It felt like a small college or, like, a bougie, like, California high school. But California kids get to eat outside because there's not ice on the ground, you know?
That's bizarre. Yeah, I mean, I have fought the temptation, and maybe I should just give in at this point, but like I appreciate the hell out of Jeff Keighley pushing for this event and making it happen and everything, but there's a part of me where it's like the claiming of everything as part of Summer Game Fest, like it makes my skin crawl a little bit, like on their official site when they're like, the Microsoft event, that's part of us. Like they literally say, here are all of our events, and they just list all the publishers, and it's like, it's a diabolical move just for like a mental land grab of like, yeah, this is all Summer Game Fest, it's kind of the new E3, it's the name, lock it in. But maybe I just shouldn't fight it. Like if we're looking for the easy shorthand for what this season is, it's better than summer streams. Just give it to Keighley, call it Summer Game Fest, you win, buddy.
He kind of won with that, which is like, I agree. I think it's a little shady because it's like, it's not your, like, it's funny because I talk to people about it, or like I mentioned to Sarah, like, oh, the thing, we have to respond to this thing already. And SGF just ended. And she's like, well, it ended on like Saturday. And I'm like, yeah, but they count, even in like their game stuff, they count Ubisoft Sunday, Monday. So it's like, it's like, it's weird to work for 6 days on a 2-day event. It's like, how's that possible?
Right.
It is just, I have to admit, you know, he won. It's easier. I've been calling it SGF. Like, what am I going to do? Say, oh, well, technically not, you know, SGF, but Xbox's thing for one day. It's, you know, I'm like, you got it. Make a website, put down stuff. I could write down anything about myself, and I guess it could just be true. Like, go for it.
Jeff Keighley has won Succession, and as we all know from that show, you win in a big way. So congratulations, Mr. Keighley. Here's a weird question, Leo, but I feel like you're the person to ask it. Do you like the game industry more after this event, or are you kind of freaked out by it?
Great question.
Thank you.
I like it more overall. I talk in the vlog a bit about being intimidated by our peers in the business and how, you know, everybody to you, the listener, to me, everybody else looks like they have it all together and are totally in control of everything they're doing and are walking through their lives with complete confidence. And the games industry is full of so many, like, obviously personalities that all you see is them, like, killing it on streams and being entertaining in a way that is, like, undeniable. And so it was intimidating company to be in, but really exciting and invigorating too. And I guess liking games more, I think, comes from talking to all the developers and it being such a good space to do that. There's cool shots in the vlog of the big open area where like most of the demos were happening, and it was just like TVs and couches, little pods of TVs and couches, and you sit down with maybe the PR, but sometimes the developer themselves, and you just talk while you play it, and it's like a really great way to get a taste of those games.
Yeah, I want to unpack all that stuff. It was weird just on the outside. Like, it was strangely motivating this season just to watch that and be like, oh, what? It set my mind on fire with the standard thoughts of just like, what should MinnMax be moving forward? What is our role in this industry? How can we stand out a little bit? How can we not just get on the standard content treadmills? How can we differentiate? And so, like, especially again with that freaking bombcast, like just hearing like so many people from the industry like roll through that, it is just fascinating to think of. Like, God, personally this is a weird thing for me, but it's so weird to hear people like taking MinnMax seriously. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but it truly feels like emotionally it feels like MinnMax is like an inside joke. Of just like, we're going to start a quote unquote company.
I like that you told us that after we went to Fest. So I'm not going to internalize this at all.
Yeah, burn your badges.
No,
whenever I was killing it, I was like, I'm here with MinnMax. And then whenever I spilled something, I'm like, I'm here with Kind of Funny Games.
Right. Thank you so
I
much.
got your back.
That's all I ask for. But no, it feels just like a personal little thing. And then it's like, oh, like, we're seen as like a real entity in the industry in a small corner of it still. And like, that's such a weird feeling. It feels like I want to snicker behind my hand and be like, they think we're an outlet.
Yeah, they fell for it.
We got them.
Yeah, exactly. They let us into this thing. Okay, let's see. What about highlights before we get to game stuff? Like, biggest geek out moment. Has anybody got one? Personal interaction with Dev or somebody from the industry? Get some good specifics here. What do we got?
I did say hi to Todd Howard, which I did have to psych myself up to do, because I saw him at the Xbox event. There was like a mixer that was before the actual event, like the showcase, like the night before, and we were on like the roof and we were like talking about him actually not too long ago, because like I had seen the behind closed doors panel with Xbox leadership. It was a moderated panel though, so you know how those are, where it's like like I joked, like the comparison would be like if we did a moderated panel for MinnMax and like Ben hosted it, and he's like, what makes you so passionate about being a great force in this industry? And I'm like, oh, well, at MinnMax, we like, it's like positive, right? It's going to be selling the brand.
Right.
But he was talking about his TV setup, and I was like, you were talking about it. Like, I wonder what is he a no TV in the room kind of person? He came by, but he had a posse, and he had a don't talk to me stride.
Yeah.
And by the time he passed, I was like, well, I'm like, well, I would say hi. I just didn't have the right opportunity. And I saw him again at the JW, and I'm like, damn, no excuses now. Like, you got me. Like,
and he's sitting. Okay, give me Todd Howard. He's leaning up with a beer in his hand, leaning against a counter.
He didn't have a drink yet.
Okay.
He was with one other, so he was like anybody else. He had like a group of people, but then the circle would open and it would close, and he was talking to someone
You
else.
gotta time it. It's like a mini game. I get it.
Yes. He was talking to somebody else, and they were talking about what they were going to drink. And I'm not going to lie, I had to wait a long, we do like the walk up. Well, maybe you don't, but like, for people listening, like if you're in these kind of mingly, networky places, it's like usually there's like a couple people talking to each other, and you can kind of walk in, join the circle. When there's a break, that's when you can say, hey, I'm like so-and-so, by the way. Like, that's at least how I do it. And the time between when I walked near him and when there was that gap felt like an eternity, a little bit. But I was like, I don't want to punk out on this, like, whatever. And I brought my friend Eddie too, who I think he moderates for us as well. Like Eddie AK played forward. And I was like, you want to say hi to Todd Howard? And I'm like, I have to be like the pillar person. Oof, like, like someone
tough.
has to be that person. So yeah, I just said hello. And, I mentioned congratulations on Starfield, like getting shown off. It must feel great to like finally have the game out there. And I think at one point I asked him like, how's it feel to finally have the game out there? And he was kind of just like, I don't have the mental space to even like give you the fluff answer of that. And I'm like, don't even worry about it, man. Like, I'm not trying to like scoop you. I'm just, chopping it up a little bit.
He feels
and I asked him about
good.
the TV thing. He doesn't have a TV in his room. He only streams in his room with, I think, what is it called? Like the G Cloud or something? I don't know what it is. It's not the Steam Deck though. And I asked about the Steam Deck. He said this other thing's more powerful, and that's why he likes it more.
I'm still confused. Where did this Todd Howard TV in the room thing come from? You just were curious about it?
No, he mentioned during the moderated panel that he has a Series X and a Series S. In his household, he bought them both immediately, but his kids kind of took over the Series X in the living room, so he's playing on the Series S in the family room, which also opened up a whole door of like, what's living room versus family room.
Okay,
I had to ask Sarah about that, because I'm like, I don't understand how many rooms does this man have? Like, I mean, I know things are going well, but like,
but the point
flex,
is,
I don't know.
You got to shake Todd Howard's hand and say, hi, I'm Janet.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah, sure, why not? It's good to go up, and Jason Schreier too is a big person that intimidates me as well.
Really?
And yes.
That dweeb?
Yes, absolutely.
Physically intimidating.
Because he's like a real, and I'm not trying to put us on levels, but he's like a real capital J journalist, like I love what I do. I think I'm great at what I do, but like one of us has worn a hot dog costume on Twitch and the other person's Jason Schreier. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, sure.
Like, so yeah, I did end up saying hello to him and stuff, and that was great.
That's nice.
But he's so, like, I respect his work so much. I'm like, I respect you by staying away from you. You know what I mean? Like,
What?
that was my deal for
How
a while.
would you-
But we said hi, and he was very friendly, and he's been on our show before.
Yeah.
But I wasn't on when he was on either.
Okay,
so it's
that's
like,
what I was trying to piece together.
I'm like, I watched you live behind on the backstage pass, like, you know, but there you go.
That's cute. Has anybody else got a good geek out?
It was so
No.
crazy being like, if I saw one or two people that I knew from the industry, I'd be like telling a story about it. But it's like everybody was there.
Yeah.
It was like back to back to back. Everybody just passing each other over and over again, seeing like Jeff Gersman and the Funhouse guys or whatever. Just to everybody.
Yeah.
But I guess the standouts would have to be the cat from Party Animals I met at the Xbox press conference
Really?
dancing around.
Very
And
cute.
the kid from the meme, I want to kill my mom. I want to kill my dad. He was at the arcade we went to.
Yeah, he
What was
was.
the
was
other
bad.
celebrity sighting that we had? There was one more that we
Leah,
had.
didn't you see somebody or like after? Like I was.
You saw someone on your way to Nintendo World.
Yeah, Adam Conover striking.
At the writer's strike.
Yeah, the writer's
Universal.
strike. Yes, yes.
Oh, weird.
We didn't say hi to the kid, by the way, for kind of obvious reasons. He's a child, but we did see him from afar.
Okay. I don't know
Redeeming
this
crisis.
meme. He's just a. Where is this from?
TikTok.
He's a
Some
kid who wants to
TikTok.
murder his family on TikTok, and he's
Yeah,
a celebrity
his
now.
dad was there. He's fine.
He had to be
He
there.
did a
all
joke,
right.
and it was like, "What's with this kid?" And like he was there. Like we saw him at the round one in either
I
Burbank
think
or
the
Glendale.
wildest thing that happened was when we were at the Xbox showcase and they were showing Starfield. Is the couple in front of me and Leo started making out?
Yes.
Really passionately. Like,
Whoa!
I mean, like we met a bunch of journalists, but like that's not going to be in the vlog. And like literally, we were just sitting there, and I don't know what they showed on the screen, but they were just like, it just fired them up, and they just started
I'm
like
to the
going
left of
at
Todd
it.
Howard, who was also in front of us.
Yeah.
So
I was
weird.
oblivious to all this, by the way. They told me all this after, even though I was there. I didn't
Leo
know
and I
any
were
of
just like
anything.
looking at each other, like, how long are they going to go for?
Was it?
Thought they were press.
Was it another pressing lips? Was it after that part in the presentation where the character in Starfield, where he's like, "No one can resist my irresistible charm," awkward
No,
Bethesda
it was
smile?
about being able to dock with any ship.
Oh my lord!
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you there.
How are the shows? Was it fun to be in person on those things? Okay.
I liked the Xbox conference more than Summer Games Fest. Summer Games
Yeah.
Fest was really loud and bassy and overstimulating, and I hadn't had breakfast yet, and that was the biggest
Aw,
difference.
we-o.
Xbox gave us
I
my
thought they were
breakfast
lowering
burrito.
the volume on Jeff's mic, like throughout the showcase, but then I realized I was just going like more and more deaf as they kept showing trailers. Like I thought that I was like, is it getting quieter? And I was like, oh no, I literally just can't hear anymore.
And that's why the Mortal Kombat trailer affected you so much, Leos, because it was just like blood gurgling sounds, but crushing your earlobes with it.
It was, my ears were full of those squishing and screaming sounds, and the crowd screaming in joy watching it. It was a
More
lot.
blood. Was that kid who wanted to murder his parents? Was he there celebrating too?
Who knows?
Yeah, put my mom and dad in it.
Yeah, it was weird seeing shots like I guess they didn't quite sell out the crowd for Summer Game Fest, which blows my mind. Like you could have gotten in there for $10 and seen Nick Cage on stage, and people in LA weren't going. Like obviously they didn't know Nick Cage was going to be there, but
What's weird is that like because of the whole like ticket kerfuffle, I ended up sitting with like the people who bought their tickets.
right.
And they were like really into everything. Like they showed the key art for Spider-Man and they were like, that's the coolest thing I've seen in my entire life. And it's like they would just show an image and they'd be like, this is so awesome. And then they didn't respect Baldur's Gate 3 as much as I thought that they
come
should.
on.
So I was just, I don't know. I could tell that I was in like the I paid for this ticket section.
Right, right. How rude. You dug it though, Janet? Attending the shows?
Yeah, I like attending the shows generally. I do think I got way more out of the Xbox One than the SGF one. The SGF one, it felt like I didn't get much more being there, but I think it's cool to attend them if you've ever been interested. Like I'm a fan of attending them, but if I had to miss one, like I wouldn't mind missing that one personally.
Yeah.
I love the Xbox One killed it. Like they had, again, Xbox is really good at doing like the community-based stuff and setting up events, and they're like the only like publisher of the big three that really does that stuff and cares to do it. And sure, you can argue, oh, well, that's because they like are the most behind, so they need everything they can get. But like, I don't care what the reasoning is. Like, everyone should be doing this. It's a genius thing to do, and they're the only ones doing it. But they had it set up so smartly where it's like they had like a press section up top on the rooftop where they had Wi-Fi, coffee, everything, TVs. So if you want to write your, because that's the thing people don't realize. Like when you're in press, especially traditional press, like writing articles, you'd never get to attend those shows because you have to write your articles, and you can't write your articles in the dark in like bad Wi-Fi conditions. So they kind of had it all set up for the more traditional media, and for everybody, they gave them the option to go like in or out of the like main theater. They had like incredible accessibility with like the sign language there. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. Like,
Yeah.
I think they just did a really good job with it. And it was all pre-record, which kind of takes away from the spectacle. But at the same time, like, I don't necessarily need I think when you don't do pre-record, it ends up being a little bit longer because you do run into those moments where you pause for the audience. Like, you kind of have
Ubisoft stuff, yeah.
play the audience more. And the pre-record allowed for a little bit more, like, snappiness to the whole event, you know?
Yeah.
Which also, too, SGF's kind of doing something different because it's, like, all the thing and not just Xbox. But the Xbox one was the more enjoyable one.
The vibes building up to it at Xbox were better too. It was like the room was dark, but like Xbox colors and flowing lights through it. Like the vibe was really, really strong as soon as you entered. It was like, oh, do I like Xbox? Do I like have an affinity for
Right?
this?
Well,
we
here's
were
the
at
thing.
Fan Fest,
Xbox
so
handed
good.
me, Xbox gave me a little coffee and a little burrito and the first container of fruit I'd seen in 5 days. I loved it. I had an amazing
They
time.
did a good job.
If you want to know how PR works, this is
I can be
this is
bought.
them roping in Xbox fans. Yeah, okay.
Definitely. Yeah, but with Summer Games Fest, it's cool to have the on-stage moments, and there's something novel about being in the same room as Nick Cage, but like he's a million miles away and you're looking at him on the big screen anyway, you know?
Yeah, By the way, speaking of Xbox fans now, like Jeff didn't make a big deal out of it, but he didn't own an Xbox this generation. After the showcase, he's like, I think it's time to buy an Xbox. I'm convinced. And it's like Jeff, that's like a notable thing, man. That showcase enough was for you to turn around and be like, I do need this.
It's time to expense an Xbox.
Well,
Come on,
that's
man.
exactly it. Yes, that's exactly it. We talked about it before. Like, everybody's missing a console on this. Jeff was like, I'm going to take you up on that.
That's funny.
'cause-
That's like perfect timing because like no one else was missing anything really.
Yeah, I guess so. He had
Don't
last
feel
year.
shy. You can always also buy the 5 Steam Decks that I pitched you on. Like there's still
Yeah,
time.
I mean, we'll talk later. I think that's doable.
Okay.
All right. Hey, who wants to talk about a game? Any game? Step right up. What
I
do you
want Leo
like?
to talk about Foamstars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, oh my
Where
God.
else would we start? Of
I'm
course.
gonna try to hold back until Leo's done because I feel like me and Sarah have like there's like Leo playing Foamstars and then there's watching Leo play Foamstars and that's like two separate experiences.
All right, Leo, Foamstars. This is the Square Enix Splatoon-like that, from my perspective, everybody saw and said, "Okay, Square Enix knows Splatoon," and then everyone who's played it's like, "Wait a minute, Foamstars might rule." Is that the takeaway?
Yeah. I literally the buzz around the Playdays area was, hey, have you played Foamstars yet? It's actually good.
Where you were like whispering it, like trying to seem cool in the back alley, like, "Hey,
Not us. People were telling us that.
wow."
Yeah, the streets were literally talking.
In a hushed tone, they would say
Wow.
like, it's actually kind of good.
Which is worrying because I'm enough of a joke as it is. Of course, Leo's gonna love Foamstars.
Right,
That's
right.
stupid. Can't wait for Leo to like it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I said
And then
when I
of
saw it.
course, we get to the demo. They walk us through it. How you chill your enemies.
Not kill
Sarah
them.
takes a turn. Janet takes a turn.
Ooh.
And then I get on the controls. And I
He
just
was the
mop
headliner
up.
for our content.
Ooh, foam mopper, baby.
I get MVP. I get final kills 3 rounds in a row. I was born to play it, of
Yep.
course. Surprising no one.
Now, did Square Enix at any point pull you aside and try to convince you that you shouldn't play it because you are the kiss of death and it means that the game will only be online for 8 months?
Yeah, they kept trying to drop stuff on me when I was in there.
Okay, so I, just from the trailer, I was like, okay, Splatoon, got it, running around covering the map in foam, but it's not like location area coverage based. It's just a shooter where foam is a big component? Or what's the best way of looking at what you're actually doing in this thing?
It's a pretty open area, and you're covering it with foam, and that foam goes vertical pretty fast, so you end up with some, like, walls you can peek out from behind, but certain characters can shoot through walls, or their gun lobs foam over walls, so you're, like, building these structures, but they're not making you completely safe.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like by the end you had this totally unique map or anything, but it was kind of an interesting thing to think about as you were just running around shooting people and surfing.
So
And really, the foam building was less of a driver for me. It was the loop of foaming somebody up till they get in a big foam ball, and then getting on your surfboard, surfing down the foam. You have to hit them on your surfboard to knock them out. Otherwise, they can be rescued by their teammate hitting them with the surfboard.
Yeah.
So it's that little loop of foaming them up, surfing, hitting them out in that little freeze frame as they, like, rocket pinball style into the wall and explode. Like that felt really strong.
Weird. And Jen and Sarah, you were converted to the world of foam.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was like, it like you pick it up and like, there's different types of characters. They're like, these are the defenders, these are the all-rounders, these are like the turret ones. But I have yet to see. I didn't pick it up as quickly as Leo. And my personal opinion is that if this game fails, it's because Leo didn't let the other team win, and they all had a miserable time because he just steamrolled them so hard.
Be nice.
But I am interested to see if people pick it up. This is because any competitive game, it's gonna live and die by its active players, its community, and the support it receives. So I'm still up in the air on this one.
Well, they aren't talking yet about if it's going to be free to play. There's no word.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's no
off the record. I mean, this is on the record, obviously, but somebody we won't say off the record when we asked about the pricing said they said something incredibly cryptic. They were like, "There's no comparison for how this pricing is going to be."
Wait, okay, so that means there's just going to be a bunch of different tiers, and it's going to be a confusing.
We don't know.
Well, we don't know anything.
They said that it's something that we've never seen.
We
before.
don't know anything.
What the hell does that mean?
We don't know anything.
Which is marketing speak for. People will be talking about it.
Bring foam to your local Walmart, and then you get one copy of the game.
Right.
Cool.
Spray the cashier with foam.
All right. Hey, I'm glad to see that apparently it's fun. Sarah, I know you're partial to it because you worked on it, but better than Ninjala. Are you going on the record?
Definitely easier to pick up than Ninjala.
Okay.
And Ninjala's complicated. Like I played Ninjala for a sponsored stream over at IGN back in the day, and it was like a lot.com because it has like such a like a cityscape verticality to it that kind of adds like I think they had too many layers of complexity to make it as latchable as Foamstars. I'm down to play Foamstars when it comes out and check it out because I do like Splatoon, and while it is very different than Splatoon, like it does not play like Splatoon. And as someone that died pretty much immediately and didn't do well at all, despite Sarah's many helpful tips of like, do you have your ultimate or whatever, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, it's hard to go into a game like that too and not have anything going in. But it wasn't hard for Leo. So once Leo sat down, and I was like, hey, we were having a good time at Foamstars, and everybody else was much more buttoned up, and maybe they were alone like with their respective outlet, but like we were there as a team, and we were like both watching Leo play. And Sarah, what did you keep saying over again? Punish the overextenders? Was that it?
Yeah, I was like coaching Leo. I was like, don't go in, Leo. Like,
nice.
let them come to you because people kept like suiciding to the back row. I was like, no, Leo. Like, this is our strategy. You hang back, wait for them to come to you, punish them.
Phone coach.
I mean, this we signed up for when we didn't know what it was. Unannounced game. So a lot of people there probably like don't even play multiplayer games.
Oh, wait,
Right.
actually,
They don't
quick
even know
interjection. We
phone.
didn't sign up for this when an announced game. Well, actually, we did. Sarah did.
We did, but then
And-
we decided I'll tag along
yes.
when we found out what it was.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's I think the beauty of having at least a 2-day event, and also the structure of SGF. There was enough flexibility and enough general chillness from everybody that it was very easy to. And I've attached them to appointments at E3 too. So like when I saw Control, like I didn't have an appointment to see it. My coworker did and said, "Hey, will you let my colleagues stand next to us in this tiny cramped room?" And they didn't say no, so that's why I was there. This was a lot easier to I think latch onto. So Sarah had set up with Square Enix because it's Sarah, so we put Sarah to go to Square Enix. And then I'm like, you know what? People are talking about Foamstars. Like, let's see if we can check it out. Like, apparently this is like a thing to see today, kind of. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't like a day 1, day 2, where the day 1 the buzz formed, and then day 2 we're like, we have to be able to at least form our own opinion on it. But
Sure.
TLDR, Leo was amazing.
Wow.
We were hamming it up. We were cheering him on. I don't know if people thought we were like weird for that, but we were having a good time.
Gotta give it up.
We were having a good time.
Just because you mentioned Control, I am curious about Alan Wake 2. I think from the outside again, it seems like this is a lot of people's game of the show.
It's so good.
It's so good. It just wasn't hands-on. Is that the weird distinction?
It's not hands-on, so for
Okay.
like,
But it was live gameplay.
Yes, it was live gameplay, which I love the immediacy of live theater. It's like, shout out to all, like, I really should have made it a point to go up to like the QA people that did there's only 2 times I saw a hands-off thing where the QA person was doing it. And like,
Should we
shout out
just
to all the QA
describe
people
the
that do that.
hilarious joke they did? Because
Sure.
it's never
I
going to
love
be
that.
public.
What
it was
was
the
it?
the PR person was like,
Oh,
Remedy's commitment to atmosphere it's what drives us to create horror, like a long like series of discussion of their approach to horror, and they're like more than relying on cheap jump scares. And then the person playing the game moved one step forward, and there was a giant jump scare.
And I turned to Leo, and I had my Apple Watch on for like pretty much the whole event, except for one of the times at night where I was trying to do like a day-to-night look, and I put on a watch instead of an Apple Watch. That was me being fancy. I turned to Leo, and I tap him, and I show him my Apple Watch like heart rate, and my heart rate is through the roof. It is like 116. My heart is pounding in this chair in this dark room.
That's so sad. But it's weird because they also, like in their gameplay demo, they do have that jump scare of like the deer going through the room and then like something.
This one's way worse.
This was just a stupid novelty jump scare.
This was before that happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and this was before. Yeah, because I was prepared for that deer where it's like, it's the same way like in Viewfinder. They're like, wow, you're really smart. I'm like, nah, I just watched your trailer 82 times. I'm sorry, I gotta confess. Alan Wake 2 looked incredible. The reason I didn't pick it as my game of the show is just because I didn't really play it, so it's like, okay. But it looks so good. I am extremely excited for it. As someone that started Alan Wake 1, the remake/remaster, and thought, wow, this game doesn't control well at all. It's kind of odd.
Yeah.
But this is like, it feels, and I don't want to say this like pejoratively because I mean it with the most compliment, it feels almost fan-conceived. Like someone woke up from a dream and said, what if I had the atmosphere and the weirdness of Control with the story bits of Alan Wake, and I put it in Resident Evil 7/8.
Okay. Well, more like 2 or 4 with the perspective, but I hear you.
Yeah, maybe more 2 because of the vibes. But like I meant kind of just the more modern Resident Evil. But and I don't think it's going to be as like intensely puzzly as 2. But that's,
help me out because it's interesting hearing other people's take on it. It's like, oh, it looks awesome, and then it's like it's a cool weird structure to be swapping between this FBI agent named Saga Anderson and then Alan Wake, but then people were excited about like the puzzle solving in it, or kind of like
the board,
the detective board, but you can't fail it. So I feel like it's a little bit of a
what is it? How does it work?
Yeah, so basically you'll do missions or objectives in the game, and throughout that you'll gain clues, and those clues can go like you can go to this place called like your mind palace. Basically, that might not be the official word for it. Mind Place, I think might be it. And that's where you can mess with the detective board, and you can also like conceptually interrogate like subjects from within your mind. It's like trippy, cool art house stuff.
Weird.
But the thing that isn't that interesting about the board is I asked, like, they had a Q&A after, and I asked, like, can you fail like the board? Can you put the board, like the clue in the wrong spot, or maybe put the clue in different spots? And you can't really, which doesn't mean it's gonna be bad, because like in Outer Wilds, like when you have basically the same thing, like it just appears and helps you continue progress. So I don't think you always need to be like straight up like fail possibility detective, but it's not like that's more of like a way to present information and explore information.
Visualize the mystery.
I feel like every game
gameplay thing.
Okay, because every game I feel like that has tried to do that, like a detective game. I think of, maybe this isn't the best example, but like Telltale's Batman series, where it's just kind of like, it's a detective, you're the world's greatest detective, but just kind of put this one piece over here and then you're done. It's like you're either going all in, like Shadows of Doubt, or I feel like it's just this streamlined thing. I'm trying to figure out, it's more on the streamlined
It's much more streamlined. Yes, it's just a way to present information. Like it's not like, you're not like, I hate to say it, you're not really solving the mystery. You're just kind of playing the game, but like it still looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to be able to fail to have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way that Mind Plays works, you press a button and it blinks you into being there in a different outfit. Like that felt like something I hadn't seen before, of just like having it be a physical space rather than a menu, and having it be immediately available.
And you can like walk around and do different things. Like it's really cool.
Huh. That sounds cool. Yeah. I like it. Okay, Sarah, what do you want to talk about?
Oh gosh. The indie games, once again, I think stole the show for me. Things like Viewfinder, things like Hauntii, Cocoon, like I enjoyed my time with those games the most. Okay,
let's unpack Viewfinder a little bit, because that's one that I'm super curious about. This is the one that we've talked about before, I think after GDC, but it's the surreal game where you go around with a camera and you take pictures, then you can hold the Polaroid or put the Polaroid in the environment, and then that becomes a new three-dimensional space that you're walking through, and it has elements of like the original version of Portal 2 with the f-stop stuff and all that. What's the other game that it's like that I can never remember the name of?
Maquette.
A little bit Maquette. There's another one that I forget. Help me out.
Superliminal.
Thank you, Janet. Superliminal, yes. Great pull. So is it exactly as cool as we're hoping for, Viewfinder?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think we played like the early part of the game, and you do feel really smart when you like learn that you can like shift things to put them at different angles. You can also rewind. So if you mess up, you can like rewind back, which I thought was really nice because like the annoying thing about puzzle games is having to consistently like put in more effort to try different things.
Yeah.
So the rewind functionality really makes it a lot easier. I cannot wait to see how far this goes. Like how deep this rabbit hole goes and like how far they will push this mechanic.
Right.
Because yeah, like in the demo it's like simple, like you you put a bridge up and you get a bridge, you like tilt a building to get some stairs, but like just the development of this game blows my mind. Just like being able to pick up an asset and then somehow put down an entire bigger asset in the environment that you can then interact with blows my mind entirely.
I have no idea how it works.
No, I don't like to think about it because it gets a little scary for me, but they did an amazing job.
Yeah. It's Sad Owl Studios is the name of this thing. It's coming out July 18th this year, so I guess we won't have too long to wait. I'm very curious.
And Sarah, you asked like how long it took them to develop it. Wasn't it like ridiculously short of a time?
They literally said that they prototyped the entire idea up in like under a year, and then it only took them a year to develop the rest of the game. And I was like, what? Like I guess like they're like, yeah, once we got the whole like idea of how to do it down, like once they prototyped like the object to permanence thing. Yeah, they're like the rest of the game just kind of like fell into place.
Easy.
But I think that just shows like you can really just take like one mechanic and like just make it look amazing. Like that is the simplest, easiest, and like most rewarding way I think to make a game.
Yeah, I do think if you've never looked at a trailer for Viewfinder, out of anything shown recently, I feel like you need to go look at this game in action just to see what's happening visually, because it's really a tough thing to explain. The physics are weird and the picture is the real world. Like it's a weird, trippy thing that I'm really curious to see if they can stick the landing. But sweet, love it. Janet, what do you got? What are you excited to talk about?
Well, really quick, I also want to echo Sarah on Viewfinder. Viewfinder's dope. Sarah nailed it, so I'm not going to add a lot more to that. But it's as good as so far it's shaping up to be as good as I hoped it is based on how it looks.
Yeah.
I am wondering what the general reception will be of Viewfinder because I love Superliminal and I love Maquette, and both of those games don't score that high on Metacritic, which I find odd. So I'm still probably going to try to pick this up for my Fantasy Critic, but I had a whole thing where I accidentally told Blessing about it. He's like, I wasn't even thinking about that. And then we were like, let's fight it out in the Fantasy Critic. And then I think we both drank too much to remember to pick it up. So now I have to text him and be like, hey, are we like picking this up? Like, I don't want to cheat the system here, but I
feel like you care about your Fantasy Critic score thing. I feel like more than most things in your life at this point, it seems like it's all consuming to win this thing.
Anyone who's in fantasy sports, like, those people that like, oh my God, like my girlfriend or my boyfriend or my partner, like they're so into their freaking fantasy football league. It's annoying. Yeah, that's me with Fantasy Critic.
Okay.
Like I care so much. It is like so much fun. And like everyone else who isn't in the league is like, bro, this is boring. This is boring content, but I like it a lot.
Yeah. We should mention there's real quick too. We should mention there's a Viewfinder demo out there as well, apparently.
Yeah, and people in the chat are saying that they're really enjoying the demo or that they're downloading it now. Like, it looks awesome, and I just hope that the whole thing is awesome. Because I got to the end of Superliminal, and I hated that ending. Jeez, that weird white room. Anyway, Cocoon.
Cocoon!
So hard. I've never been, and I forgot, again, with the Fantasy Critic thing, Blessing picked this up, and I was like, it looks okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is he a tastemaker with this call? I don't even care what this is. Like, this game is so incredible. I played alongside Sarah. This was a joint appointment that we had with Annapurna Interactive.
Yeah.
This game is often couched via the trailers as from the makers of Inside and Limbo.
Well, it's like the lead gameplay designer from Inside and Limbo.
So naturally, I'm like, is that actually going to hit though, or are you just like throwing two big names? It's kind of like when, no offense to Starfield, because that game looks like it's going to be cool, but when they said a game 25 years in the making, I was like, okay,
whatever.
Like come on now, like, we're gonna lay on thing. But Cocoon, like I love the puzzles of it. It feels so natural and intuitive, and some of the visuals are just absolutely incredibly striking. Like I was awestruck watching this. Some of the ways you go in and out of the world. Like
I'm so confused.
The B-roll just popped up right now, but
I'm confused with this because we saw it a little while ago, and it's like, okay, I like the pedigree of the gameplay designer, but it kind of just looks like an adventure game with orbs, and you're moving orbs around, and then you're going inside of orbs to get to other orbs. Like, what's the mind-blowing part? I guess I'm trying to understand.
Something about playing it was just incredibly satisfying, because like Janet was saying, those puzzles are so intuitive, and somehow like I don't really consider myself a great puzzle player, but somehow the way the game leads you to these solutions, and then like visually, it's like visual ASMR sometimes is how I would describe it. Like the way they like do little things was just like so satisfying to look at.
Also, the sound design is incredible. It was the best sound design I'd heard. I think the whole weekend. Like they did a really good job like making this come together, and I think that also helps create that atmosphere. I think the way I see Inside and Limbo in this is minimal in terms of the aesthetic, but maximal in terms of the idea of you are thrust into a world, you're going, and as you go, you kind of start to develop some questions about the world. Like me and Sarah were playing, and we're like, what is this giant bug? Like you're like kind of like a little bug guy, and you carry these big orbs, and you'll see like other creatures, and I'm like, who is this? Is this mom? Is this God? And I like how it's kind of opening up. I like the sort of over-the-top view as you navigate the environments, and the way they sort of are building the mechanics, because I get you being like, I don't know, you put an orb down, and then you go into another orb, like whatever. But like, they'll start to play with what you're capable of doing. So like there's an orb you can hold that shows an area of the world that you can't see otherwise. So then you're kind of mapping things out, like you're carrying that to see the land you're walking on. So it plays a lot with how you interact with the world, and you investigate those interactions in a very natural way. The jumping in and out of the orb is more so how you get between areas than like a mechanic in itself, at least in this early demo slice. The only thing that I have that concerns me about Cocoon is I wonder if at some point it'll, much like Sarah mentioned with Viewfinder, kind of the opposite. Like if at one point it'll take too long to experiment. Like I was really struggling with the puzzle, and Sarah was like walking me through it. But even with that, it felt like it took us like 2 minutes too long to get the solution. Like it was a little bit tough. I also fought a boss where the boss is a one-hit death, and I'm like, I hope you change that, or maybe there's settings later, because
it's weird for a puzzle game. Yeah,
it felt too like the boss was cool and really fun, but like it was like hand sweaty mom spaghetti gaming hours for me, because I was like, oh my god, I gotta try to beat this. And like luckily we were just kind of playing on our own. I think the devs were kind of hanging back, or the Annapurna team was hanging back. I talked to Greg Miller, and he also struggled with that boss, and he's like, it was that thing where the whole dev team was behind me watching, and I was like, oh my god. And that's not even just being at the event. That's just like in general, if I can only fail once, that's hard to do, even if it's not that hard of a thing to accomplish inherently. But this got me very excited. It was a great demo in that I saw the trailers and was like, whatever. And then I played it, and I'm like, is this the best game at this show?
Wow.
So if I don't think they have a demo available now, but keep Cocoon on your radar. I'm very excited to pick it up when it comes out.
Cocoon, Geometric Interactive is the name of the developer, and they still just say coming soon, I think, for the release date for Cocoon. But that's sweet. Leo, if you could talk about any game right now, what do you want to talk about?
This next sentence is 29 years in the making.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Everything in my life has been building up to this.
He's so smart.
One of them Amazon games looks pretty good.
Amazon games! Let's hear it for Amazon, everybody. Sound off in the chat.
This is a Leo asked Leo appointment. Well, I saw this coming down the pipe, and I said, Leo, is this one of the weird things you're into? And he said, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the game, if I may cut off your sentence that you're working on for decades. This is a game called Throne.
Start over now.
This is Throne and Liberty?
Yeah, that's right. They were showing one called Blue Protocol that I also played that was not very good, and it was like, it's their Genshin style thing, and I was like, just real quick on Blue Protocol, I was like, okay, well, Ana Diaz will be the judgment on this because she loves Honkai Star Rail and games of this ilk.
Yeah, and
she came away thinking it was trash. So Blue Protocol, that's your heads up on that. Throne and Liberty, a similar franchise they're trying to launch that's like an MMO free to play. RPG, and it's got a lot more interesting ideas going for it. That's what really surprised me, is like, oh, this pitch sounds novel. It was the idea of these like dynamic weather effects in the world for everybody, and they either affect the world just naturally, it'll rain and flood an area and you'll be able to access a part that you normally can't, just like only when it's raining you'll be able to swim, or you can do it with certain spells. And an example they gave was, you're in a team fight and you change the wind direction so that your arrows can fly further than your opponent.
But in an MMO, isn't everybody going to be doing that? So it's just going to be like winds bashing into winds?
I assume it's very regional and localized. But it was kind of cool to have it be, the combat was a little more pen and papery. Like
Yeah.
you're really thinking about it. And which wasn't what I expected for them for whatever Amazon is doing. I felt like trying to follow trends. This didn't really feel like that.
Yeah.
Besides being a free-to-play RPG.
Yeah, and it's also NC Soft that's making it, the Guild Wars 2 folks and stuff, so they have plenty of experience there. And it's weird to see Amazon just kind of making that push, because what was their other MMO
I don't remember the name of it, but it was also short-lived.
something like
No one does.
Manifest
Wild.
Destiny. It was something like the New World?
New World.
New World, does that sound right?
Yeah, still kicking.
Hey, there it
For
is.
sure. They had amazing appetizers in their building that they were.
Do you
I was
see
so-
how
when I
simple it
when I
is,
heard about the
everybody?
food, I immediately
Yeah.
regretted not getting into that one.
So if anybody at home, make sure to give a lot of money to that game.
Jesus.
I
my
easily
God.
bought with food.
Yuck.
Apparently, Amazon did deck it out. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm like,
At an open
it's not
bar?
worth it to play a game that I really hate, so it doesn't.
I don't know.
actually end
The
up
Alan
working.
Wake, the Alan Wake 2 Speakeasy was still my favorite part of Summer Game
I
Fest.
didn't get to
What?
enjoy that, which is
Well, that's
Leo,
because
next time
you
go to
had an
Amazon Games, line your
appointment
pocket with tinfoil
and I
take stuff.
didn't. Yeah, Janet and Leo got to go into the Alan Wake 2 appointment, but I missed it, and they shut the doors. And they were very strict about the doors. But they were like, you can just chill at the bar and like
Also,
free
that really
drinks.
sucks because there were seats open, and I was like, that
Beautiful.
looks like a great chair for Sarah.
No. I
But-
honestly, that was being beautiful. I was under like beautiful wisteria, free snacks, plush couches. Dark, quiet at the end of a
Yes.
long day. I was like,
Yeah.
I actually live here now, and I actually am not too upset that I didn't get to see Alan.
There
Sometimes
was a
that
little
has more
scene-
value for
perfect.
sure.
There was a little theme of like there were a couple appointments where one of us ended up being that like mom drops off kids at school where I'm like, okay, you play your game and I'm gonna sit in the back. I can still see you. And like that was like me and Leo when Sarah was playing Final Fantasy. I'm like, I would like to be in it. Like,
I didn't know you guys were still there. They
Yeah.
just dropped me off, and they were like, "Okay, have
Well, we
fun. We'll be
wanted you.
back
We didn't want
soon."
you to feel like we were hovering, you know. So like, mom and dad went to the back and just passed out for a while the Square Enix PR guy gave us some waters, which was very generous. I was like, thank you. Like, I'm dying. Like, would you like the Sprite that I don't want that I've been lugging around for 8 hours in my bag? No, okay.
I know that you all feel cool and accomplished and everything, but you should know that
But
myself and thousands of people right now are just screaming like, we want to go to there. Like that all sounds so fun. Everyone's jealous of you is what I'm trying to communicate, just as a
what else
reminder.
is new?
Yeah, okay.
It was really fun. We're
Our
really
job is
grateful
really
for it.
cool. Like, but it is genuinely like. I really want to heavily emphasize that this was a great experience, but also it was, especially combined with the travelogue because of Nintendo, this was a lot of work, but it was very fun, and I do love my job. But at the same time, love doesn't get my voice back. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this was like, do you
Have
want
you
an
not seen
8-hour
Little
day?
Mermaid? It literally does.
And it's funny because like it's such a whenever anything would happen to us, whether it's like me losing my voice or like Leo not feeling well, it was always just a funny question. And it's like, what do you think it is? Is it the working the 8-hour days and then sleeping only 5 and eating almost nothing and drinking alcohol?
Yeah,
Could
yelling
that be
over
it?
people for the other 6 hours. Of
Yeah,
the
you're like,
party.
what got Leo sick? Was it the Frito pie at the Xbox mixer? Like,
Was it drinking the LA tap water? Like, we'll never know.
oh my god, the way to. Sir, can we take a second for the tap water thing? Because that thing, I lost my mind.
Is it about
I
the
never
I
did
murder?
that.
really let Leo down when we were at the very end of the entire trip. Leo was like, I think I was just like reminiscing about things that I did and didn't like about LA, and I was like, yeah, and it's too bad you like really can't drink the tap water here. And Leo looked up and he went, "You're not supposed to drink the tap water?" And he holds up this like Nalgene bottle and he's like, "I have been chugging this from the
Every
tap
day.
I know I
every
keep it
day."
hydrated, and I don't
And
like
like
to pay for
I,
water.
in that moment, I'm sorry, Leo, I failed you. I should have said something.
Wait, why can't you drink the LA tap water?
It's just not as good
Um,
quality. Like
It's not as good.
apparently
as
from
good,
other.
but it's
Apparently, and then
water.
that's when I found out that apparently y'all got like tap water coming out of the Himalayan mountains or something. Like you
Yeah.
have like good tap water.
We don't
like,
know what to do with all
We
this
share
water
it
we
with
have in
Canada
Minnesota.
over here in Minnesota.
Yeah,
so
so
it has to be
also-
good. But
We need to do a taste test when I come back because I didn't know that y'all have like this bomb tap water. And
I
I
mean-
can bring LA tap water from my place, and now we can do a taste test.
Yes.
it's
and we make pizza with both of
legal
them.
to drink the LA tap
oh
water.
my
That's how they
God.
describe it. It's legal.
Wait,
but the
Also,
tests that they
really?
use to test are really old.
I have a
so-
question for Leo and Sarah because we never actually debriefed this on any of the content. when I told you how bad our pizza was, like, did you really believe me? And like, what was your take when you ate the
We
pizza?
believed you. That was bad pizza.
Yeah,
That we
that's
waited
Were
been
you
such
such
a
shocked
long
by
a
it? Do you
line
think I was
for at Summer Game
overselling how
Fest.
bad our pizza was?
Wait, did you bring
No.
them to like a terrible pizza place just to prove your point, or what's going on here?
No.
The longest line at
The
Summer
fact that
Game
you even
Fest
asked me
was
that,
for
I
the
was like,
pizza bin.
How dare you?
Wait, so Summer Game Fest pizza was trash pizza?
That's not great.
Oh, that's a shame.
But that's not
And we
SGS
waited a
fault, it's
long
LA.
time for it too.
That's LA.
I
Like
refuse to believe that, Janet. And maybe it's because I have the tongue of a moron, but like, there's going to be good pizza in LA. It varies
There's
place to place.
chains that are good.
Right.
You
That's what I
can
thought.
here's the thing. You can find a slice of pizza that I could probably give you a slice of pizza and you'd be like, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
But unlike a lot of places like in the Midwest or in the country, you can't just go up to any pizza place and be like, oh, I want some pizza. You might get some real bad pizza. You can't just go anywhere. You gotta search it out. Versus
be
like,
damned.
you know, when we were in Minnesota and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a pizza place from like whoever knows wherever. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can do that, and it doesn't like matter if you know. You can go sight unseen to get pizza in like Minnesota or Chicago or wherever.
You gotta do your
sight
research.
unseen in California, you're rolling those dice.
Okay,
Like, and
okay.
they're not weighted in your favor. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing.
I'll be damned. Hey, Sarah, can we talk about Final Fantasy 16 a little bit?
We can. Did you play the demo yet?
No, I haven't played the demo yet. It lost in the New Show Plus poll, and so I'm in the camp of
Wow.
like, it's coming out so soon. I don't know if I want to start the demo and then have a kid and have my life flipped upside down and then not get back
You should
to
play
it.
the demo, have your kid, and then go back and be like, and see if you're the same person. Do you look at
Oh,
Clive
interesting.
differently? Do you look at that little
Right.
kid who keeps getting his face splattered with blood differently
Now that your son
in every
Clive has
trailer?
been
Like,
born.
we need to. It's like, I think it's a fun litmus test.
We don't have enough of dads reflecting on how they view games differently now.
You're
than they're
right,
dad. I
you're
think you
right.
can really pave the way in that way. You can
This
be the
is-
first person. You can break that glass ceiling, Ben.
This is the direction for MinnMax moving forward. Absolutely. Daddy stuff all the time. No, so is the
that's a
demo?
different thing, but-
Oh, interesting. Is the demo you played at Summer Game Fest different from the public demo?
People are saying that your progress carries over
Yeah.
from the demo that's out now, and the demo that I played was not beginning of the game.
Okay.
Sid was there, so I think it was a different demo. What happened was we were loitering around Square Enix, the area that they were in, and some guy said to us, and he's like, "Do you want to play Final Fantasy 16?" And I'm like, "What did you say?" And he's like, "Do you guys want to play Final Fantasy 16?" And I was like, "Where?" And they had it in the back room. They had like 5 TVs set up in the back room in like a really low lit area, like again more speakeasy vibes. And they like plopped me down in the chair. They're like, "Play the tutorial, play this little bit of the demo," like, and they were like, "For judges' consideration," wink, wink. And I was like, "What's a judge?" I didn't know I was a judge when I played it, so you couldn't really sway me. I was having a lot more fun with the action, like the actual gameplay, than I thought I would. I think it was really they were like, we gave you a little bit. I had more abilities than I should have had at this
Okay.
point of the game.
Yeah.
They had me a little beefed up a little bit. And I thought that I was doing really well. Like, I thought that I was nailing it. Like, I could see the Final Fantasy XIV influences. Like, the
Yeah.
combat was really fun. Dodging felt really, I don't know, rewarding and stuff like that. And then after, like, this, like, sitting there for 30 minutes, the guy comes up and he's like, "Do you know about, the accessories?" And I was like, "Oh, like the accessories that like make it easy."
Baby mode?
It
Yeah.
turns out I had been wearing those. They had it on my character, and I looked at him and I was like, "You lied to me? You lied?" I thought that I was like, this guy is so impressed right now with my skills. Like, I am just nailing this.
I'm
No,
dodging
I
Like
was
it
everything.
goes into slow motion when I get hit because I'm reacting.
yeah, I was just absolutely kitted out on absolute baby
Oh,
mode. And I was just
no.
like, "Oh God."
I'm sorry.
I know, but it was cute because the only thing that it was fun, but like, if you get lost, you can press a button and Torgal will tell you where to go. Because I kept getting turned around in all the battles, so you can call Torgal and he'll be like, "This way, idiot," and I'm like, "Thanks, buddy."
That is good. I like
So-
having that. Who needs the Dead
I'm
Space
not
little thing?
sold on like the story yet, or
Okay.
on Clive as a main character yet, but like the gameplay, at least on whatever baby mode I was on,
Yeah.
felt pretty good.
People are red hot on the demo. Everyone who's played it's like, ooh, I regret starting it even because I want to keep playing it because it's so damn good. I gotta say, the greatest PR that this game has had so far for 16 is like the main voice actor for Clive, Ben, I forget his full name, but he's been going on making the rounds on the podcast. Like he's on Bombcast, he's over at Easy Allies, he's on Kind of Funny. He's the most charming damn guy. And it's just like, it turns out I'm just a simpleton for like, if a voice actor comes in and like, knows their stuff when it comes to gaming. It's like, all right, I suddenly respect this dude so much more. Like, he's just like a hardcore Final Fantasy VIII fan. He was talking about playing Chained Echoes. It's like, all right, you know what? I will feel better playing 16 knowing that the voice actor played Chained Echoes from December of last year. So hats off to Square if they're lining it up, or if just the actor is on his own crusade to just try and convince people this 11th hour to check out Final Fantasy 16. But
do you like voice actors more than actors, or what's?
I was gonna ask, is there a difference there?
Well, I've never thought about it. I mean, I guess if like blowhardy Hollywood actors, if they also played Chained Echoes, I'd probably be more interested in them overall.
So if Chris Pratt in that Game Informer interview had said Chained Echoes is my favorite game,
wouldn't you be like, hey, Chris Pratt? I think, right?
That would have been cool.
Yeah, you'd be like, now I'm happy all these people on YouTube are saying I look like him. Suddenly it's a badge of honor for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of Tetris is pretty cool.
Instead of a Tetris is pretty cool?
That's an impression of their answer.
Tetris is pretty good.
Every actor.
What's
Streets
the
are talking
one
about
with
Tetris.
Mario? Yeah, I like that one.
Pretty good. So we'll be talking about 16 more in the future. We did not get a review code, so it'll probably still be some early impressions if we have it next week at all. But look live. I won't be sharing my impressions. There'll be a mystery black box for months and months, but you'll get to hear everybody else's. So there we go. That's 16. That's coming up next week. Good Lord. What else we got? Who's got something they want to shout out?
I got Lysfanga, the Time Shift Warrior, a
Yeah.
game that is really hard to remember the name of.
I don't know
and
how
it's
you
kind of
pulled it
hard
off.
to say.
Did you have it written down and you're reading it directly?
Yes, I
need
did
to.
open the Steam page so I could read Lysfanga, the Time Shift Warrior.
Smart.
So apologies to Sandor Studio because that's got to be an uphill battle for them, the makers of the game. This is a Quantic Dream published game.
Yeah.
I checked out a couple different Quantic Dream games, two that I can talk about, one that I can't, and this is the one that stuck out. So it works out.
If I may, I want to hear more about Lysfanga, but Quantic Dream, I know we're not the biggest fans of the studio in general, but like, I feel like, is it worth stepping back and just be like, hey, they seem to know what they're doing when it comes to publishing games? Because like Under the Waves also looked really damn good. It's like, Quantic.
But it wasn't. Sorry.
Oh, is
Hate
that
to
right?
say. I didn't like it.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought it was bad. Yeah.
Okay, that was like the cool.
But it did look good.
It
and
looked
that's
good
why
in
I
that
picked up the
trailer.
appointment.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, that appointment was like, I don't know. I don't want to sound mean, but when I was playing Under the Waves, I was like, damn, man, I wish like someone else was here with me to like kind of just pass.
That's how I felt playing 2D Sonic all by myself.
Yeah, like I looked around and I'm like, someone's got to bail me out. And so it was like, it was just rough. Anyway, but Lysfanga, Time Shift Warrior was really good.
Yeah.
For Quantic Dream, the whole thing is like, Quantic Dream has always been like problematic fave for me, where yes, there's like a lot of problems with the studio, and like I'm not gonna lie, Detroit Become Human is a very layered game once you move out of the era that it came in and realize like this isn't nearly as like progressive. You know, it's the crash of video games. You watch it again and then you're like, this wasn't as progressive as I thought it was.
The crash of video games is exactly, that's the perfect way to talk about Detroit Become Human, yes.
Yeah, it's like Detroit Become Human. Yeah, it's like it's a problematic fave game. Where it's
Sure.
like, if I say I like Detroit Become Human, I gotta couch it so that you don't think that I think the things that it puts out there.
It's fine.
I'm like, I don't agree with a lot of the content, but like I kind of liked. Well, my favorite character was a cop character. It's a problematic fave game, you know. Like, I'm like, look, does ACAB have to include Connor? Because I kind of like Connor. Like,
but Lysfanga.
I know, it's a whole thing. I could talk about Detroit Become Human for a long time, but Lysfanga Time Shift Warrior, I really want to highlight this. This became kind of I'm like, this is my tastemaker game. I was like telling everybody about it as soon as I got out of it. Because I genuinely wanted more people to play it. I loved it. So you probably saw this game at Summer Game Fest, but you also probably sort of forgot you saw it because I think it was sort of mishmash between a lot of trailers. They did show it at the big like Keighley Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
Nick Cage was there thing. And when I saw it, I was like, I don't know, it looks okay. Like it did that thing where like they showed the art and they showed the game and it kind of looked different. So I was like, I don't know, whatever. Then I played it and holy cow, I love this game. It sort of has that top-down, semi-angled perspective that you get from a game like Hades.
Right.
It has a bit of like time travel, make copies of yourself thing. So it did feel a little bit like, Leo, what's the name of that VR game that you guys like where you make the
Last Clockwinder.
The Last Clockwinder. It's not nearly as intricate as what the Last Clockwinder sounds like, but it sort of has a little bit of that DNA of you do something so that your clone goes back and does it so that you can continue. So basically, the setup of the game is it's hack and slash, but with a tactical twist to it. So when you approach like essentially a battlefield in the area. You have these different enemies. Everyone's standing still. You can kind of zoom around the way you can in a game like, Mario plus Rabbids or other tactics games and kind of think about what you're going to do. Essentially, you can make like, I forget how many number, but copies of yourself, and you can do actions for like a set amount of time. So I'm going to make up the time just for sake of conversation. Let's say it's 60 seconds, right? It's like, okay, for 60 or 30 seconds or whatever, I can kill as many enemies as I can, and then I can either let the clock run out or I can, hit end on my turn. That's a copy of myself that's going to do that. Now I'm going to go up another area and I'm going to do the same thing, make another copy of myself do it. So you basically set it up so you have these copies of yourself running through combat, and then you finish it as your real self, and then that area is done. Now, the question that I first had was like, okay, I mean, I could do it, but like, can I just do it all as myself anyway? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
The point is there are enemies as you progress, and even in my short demo time, that will sort of make you recontextualize the mechanics, which is my favorite shtick of any game. I think more so than adding new abilities. Recontextualizing the mechanics through good game design, to me, is the core of what makes me enjoy video games. So this does that a bit with stuff like there's an enemy where it's like two twin brothers, they're linked together, and you have to kill them at the same time for them to really die. So it's like now you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to send one clone out, and then I'm going to go. I got to wait for the clone to kill him so I can kill him at the same time as the clone, and then that's one of my runs, and then you run it back, and then you're doing other stuff.
That sounds cool.
We have another enemy that they have like a shield, and in order to kill them, you have to have someone in front hitting them, and then you come from behind to kill them. So it's like another use case of the clone. But then there's like another ability where it's like if you get your ultimate, you can just one-shot that guy. So there's like so many cool layers of strategy. And admittedly, I rarely got like, there's like bonus objectives for time, and I rarely got like best time because I was a little bit slower with figuring it out. But I totally got the like, man, like as soon as I did something, I'm like, I want to run that and do that more efficiently. And the member of the team that I was with, who's apologies, like the name and specifics evades me of like who it was. Like I'm sure I have the business card somewhere or something. They were also really great at like talking me through sort of what the game offers and offering tips. And it was just like a really fun, like candid conversation about the game. And I just really loved this title. And this was the title that I signed up for sight unseen. A peek behind the curtain, a good amount of titles that we got like emailed about when we were making the appointment, it would say unannounced game because it gets announced at the showcase. So I just had to sign it up. And sometimes that doesn't work out well because it's like, if it's like, I don't know, a fighting game, like I'm not going to know. When I signed up for Mortal Kombat by accident, like that, I wouldn't have taken that. And it's not because I hate Mortal Kombat. I'm just not going to say anything interesting about it.
Sure.
Yeah,
so
Janet and I both signed up for Mortal Kombat under unannounced Warner Bros. Game.
And we had
Scribblenauts 5, of course.
I know, and we just went and like we duked it out, and it was a little bit awkward, but we made the best of the situation. But anyway, Lysfanga Time Shift Warrior, check it out. Like look at the gameplay, like glance at what it has to offer. I feel like in a way, like even though it does sound specific, like hack and slash tactics, I feel like this is a game anyone can enjoy because it's simple enough at its baseline. Like the combat isn't too taxing, but it's just fun to sort of set up these solutions and like play with the area. I just love this game. It was like one of my favorite things that I played. So shout out to that game.
Lysfanga. It's in the description if you want to see the exact spelling and all that good stuff there. Sarah, you mentioned it briefly. I'm curious. We were watching the reveal and we're like, ooh, is Sarah going to be into this or not? Sonic Superstars. Because it's a 3D model of Sonic, just in a 2D game.
It's not a 3D Sonic game.
You're
Don't
in 3D
offend
space.
me.
So no go? You're not interested?
I played it, and it, I had the same issues with it that I do with every 2D Sonic game, where it's like the minute you start to go fast, you'll like run into something that you didn't see coming, and now suddenly you're really slow, and you have to like backtrack to get fast again. I did some boss battles. I get hit once, lose all my rings, get like 5, get hit again, suddenly no rings.
Good gameplay.
But if you like that, if you like 2D Sonic games, you'll probably like this. I thought he wasn't as like snappy to control as I thought he would be. It seemed like the way he was facing really controlled how he moved more, so you couldn't do a lot of like quick movements with him.
And that seems weird for Sonic. I'm totally with you. Where I saw the trailer and was like, he looks a little sluggish, our Sonic boy in Sonic Superstars. But at the same time, I love these nerds on the internet. They did like frame by frame physics comparisons of this and Sonic Mania, which, the Sonic fans are like, well, Sonic Mania is as good as it gets. That's it. Cream of the crop. And it's 1 for 1. It's like exactly the same physics as Sonic Mania. Maybe like the top speed is different or something like that. But then the wild thing too is Christian Whitehead, who led the development on Sonic Mania, he was on Twitter being like, I can't go into details, but like it makes sense that the Sonic Mania engine would work well in 3D or with 3D models. Like, so he was implying, I guess, that like they converted that engine or they had plans to convert it. So somehow he was lending more credence to the idea that it's going to control a lot like Sonic Mania. But I agree, it looked a little slowish. But what the hell do I know?
My like personal theory is that this is just like Japan being like, we can make our own Sonic Mania and have it be popular. Like, it's not just because, you know, like they did it better. Like, we are Sega. Like, we can make a Sonic Mania. And it's like, just make Sonic Mania 2. Like, maybe what made it feel sluggish was just the art style.
Could be.
Wasn't as like snappy as Sonic Mania was.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why this feels like they're just trying to prove something over Sonic Mania. But like, if you like 2D Sonic games, I definitely want to hear your opinion on this. Because, yeah, I sat down and I was just like, I got 45 minutes. May I be excused?
Okay. Yeah, we last episode, I think, of the podcast, or one before that, we were talking about, like, it's weird that they're not announcing who's making this thing. They're not saying Sonic Team. But since then, it's come out that it's being developed by Arzest, who's like an old-school Japanese company. But their last game was Balan Wonderworld, which I understand it's too easy to be like,
now I understand why I didn't say it was developing
I think that's exactly
it.
it.
Wouldn't you, like, rename the company after that?
Just
pull
torch it to the
Comcast
ground?
and be like, we're Xfinity now.
Yeah, it's like, it's not fair to say, oh, it's going to be as crappy as Balan Wonderworld, but like, you know, that's just what the talent worked on last. But this is a completely different type of game, so you never know. But okay, what about what about you guys? What about Leo? I thought this was What's that?
Yeah, I've got something.
Yeah, lob it up, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that game Wayfinder.
I really thought that you were misremembering the name Viewfinder when you said you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's the new Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds. We always get one each
Yeah.
year.
Mm-hmm.
My recollection of this is this game showed a trailer at the Game Awards last fall, and it was after a bunch of mid trailers, and it broke me, and I said, "What am I supposed to say about this trailer?" It's
Right.
a loot game.
Yes. It's like it kind of looks like a Blizzard game. The art style is kind of big armor. I think I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's like, it's just hard to tell what's cool about a game in a trailer that doesn't really have any gameplay. Even if it does, it's like pretend gameplay, you know? But getting my hands on it, it was my game of the show. I kept thinking about it. I was dying to play more.
Wow. It's Airship Syndicate, we should point out, who's like Joe Mad, his studio from Battle Chasers, the kind of visionary, the art director for the Darksiders series. And their last game was Ruined King, that League of Legends game that was good. It's just nobody talked about it enough. Like, one of those games I started, I was like, this seems really well done. I'll get back to you later.
Solid.
Yeah. So yeah, this is their new thing. But I'm sorry, Leo, the floor is yours.
No, yeah, the basics. The first thing that got me interested was I picked a random character, which was the Brute lady. And the nuances of her controls were telling me, oh, they're doing something interesting here. Because you've got your buttons, you hold R1, and you've got your abilities that are on cooldown or whatever. But for her, they're like wrestling themed from her backstory in the arena. And she's like building hype for this imaginary crowd that she's like hearing cheering for her in the gameplay. And each ability you can like fire quickly or hold, and you'll do like an extended version of it. There's like a 3-hit combo that you can do fast, or you can hold it and hit once and then like hype up the crowd. She like turns around and does this like taunt animation that taunts enemies and makes them attack you, and then finishes it off with like stronger damage. And it felt really cool and was such a cool idea with so much personality. I also really liked that the loot mechanics are for like accessories, trinkets, and things that boost you, but your weapons are, and I believe armor, are fully just, you pick one you want to try. Any character can use any weapon, and you just level it up from using it, which I think is great. I don't dislike loot games across the board, but it can be kind of tedious, tiresome, intimidating, and this felt like a good, measured implementation of it. And of course, it's got roguelike stuff. You know, I love that. Procedurally generated dungeons with materials that you're collecting and using to fuse together to get a random modifier of like, there's going to be poison enemies now, and there's this like special orb you have to worry about. I know you don't like orbs, Hanson, but there was a cool orb.
Okay.
Orbs are the star of the show. That was like one of the themes of SGF.
Is that right? Yeah. Immortal orbs.
I actually met an orb while I was out there. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Are they fan
Another
airs?
celebrity sighting.
So this is an MMO then?
No.
Steam says it is.
I don't. Oh, then yes.
According
of course.
according to the Steam tags, if you can trust those.
Oh, the tags versus the description of like the thing, because I don't know, like the tags.
I'm not sure. It is party based. The like multiplayer functionality that they told me about was player housing, which does sound like an MMO, but it's kind of in its own area, it seems. And player housing being expanded into player neighborhoods, where like maybe they'll do guilds too, but they're booting up with your version of booting up with your friends as you all have houses in the same neighborhood.
That's cool.
Which I just immediately got me so excited. I think that's so underdone as player housing, and the neighborhood thing sounds so fun.
Man, it's so weird. Again, we're not making this a kids podcast, but like playing a lot of games with my nephews recently, like it's fascinating playing new games with them because they're so in a Minecraft mold. They do not care about a game unless you can have a house. Like playing Forza Horizon 5, they're like, where's our house? Let's go buy another house. It's like, oh, Forza Horizon 5, you can go buy a house. And it's like, that is a cooler perspective on gaming. Just Minecraft has taught you that gaming is about finding a house and going on adventures from that house. And it's like, turns out it's
the
important.
real world definitely isn't about finding a house, that's for sure. Because the market is like times 16 from the 90s. So.
Yeah, well, move out of LA and then you can live like a queen, Janet. And you can drink
I can't
water.
Get a house here.
Be dead.
Well,
that's why it's a fantasy, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
The
ability to be somewhere interesting and have a house, like.
That's right. Hang on, what are you saying about Minnesota? They describe it as an online action role-playing game. Is their official wording for what Wayfinder is? But that's cool. I'm glad you liked it, Leo.
Yeah, and the art style was like
that?
had a little more going for it. You know, it was like this is a world I could see spending a lot of time in.
Yeah. What were you saying, Sarah?
I didn't even know that was at the show.
Yeah,
like the entire time, like we were just like disappearing places and coming back, and it'd be like, "Where were you?"
It's like
"Oh,
the
I
thing.
was playing
What's going on out
insert
there?
game, yeah.
Suspicious. Okay. Hauntii, Sarah. We haven't talked about yet. We talked about it.
Hauntii is just the best looking game at the show.
Interesting.
Like hands down, I am a sucker for any kind of like well executed art style. The colors were beautiful.
Yeah.
The game was beautiful. Like I didn't see the Day of the Devs. I know it was in the Day of the Devs, and I like totally missed that, so I went in completely blind. And I played the beginning of the game, which is sort of where you start out, I think, as a little ghost, and it's a more chill stick shooter. So you're kind of exploring, like very chill. You can haunt things, kind of like the Super Mario Odyssey cap.
Okay.
Where you'll like go onto a pillar as the ghost, and then you can rip it down onto enemies. Just very cool, like very slow start. And then they introduce you to your little buddy. And I am like such a sucker for a little buddy. And it's like you and this other little ghost, and you're going through the game together. And I was like talking to the devs, I was like, okay, but like you can't take this little buddy away from me. I'm emotionally attached, and if I lose little buddy, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And they were like, can you play for another 20 seconds actually? Because like my time was up, and they're like, wait, you're actually not done yet. And it was just this beautiful artistic rendering, and like my little buddy was like going to heaven, and I was getting like ripped down to hell. And there's just like really emotional scene where they're like holding on to each other's hands.
No.
And the music's just going, and like the chains just keep trying to pull you down, and I was literally like tearing up.
Oh no.
And this is like day one Summer Games Fest. I was just like devastated watching it, and I didn't realize it was in the trailer. It was a little bit of a spoiler, but I was just completely and emotionally obliterated within the first 10 minutes of Summer Game Fest. And then they were like, by the way, we did all the art in Procreate, which is that iPad app for drawing. And I was like, what the hell?
Oh, that's sweet.
And then I went away, and I was like, I need to leave because I'm tearing up a little bit at the loss of my little buddy. And I will not be emotionally recovering from this for a while.
Okay, mission accomplished. Yeah, it was shown, during Day of the Devs, but yeah, Hauntii is how you spell that thing. We talked about it a little bit. We did, for New Show Plus this week, we had people from the community like write in or call in to share their picks for like hidden gems from Summer Game Fest. So we talked about it a little bit there. That's in the bonus podcast feed if you want to hear 27 other games that flew under the radar that we haven't hit up here. But also, full disclosure, it's always one of those things like, I guess we should mention this, that like what I'm 8-Bit was heavily involved in Summer Game Fest, like designed the entire layout and stuff like that. And they do support us in a big way, but we're unrelated beyond that. Is that, game of the show for you, Leo? It's
Hauntii?
Well, yeah, Leo, it's Wayfinder.
Hauntii for all of us?
A Hauntii? Is it really number one for you, Sarah?
I think so.
Wow.
Nice.
And then
It was sweet. I liked it.
Yeah, Janet, and then yours is Lysfanga.
Game of the show. Sure.
Yeah, you don't gotta.
Why not? Let's have fun with it. This doesn't mean anything. Yeah, let's make it Lysfanga. Why not?
All right.
Mine means a lot,
Yeah.
and it's Wayfinder. But I also am really excited for Assassin's Creed Mirage, but we didn't see anything more than the gameplay that got shown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What got
Okay.
shown got me hyped.
Yeah, there's a ton more stuff that we can talk about. And the plan is to talk about it on the next episode of Party Chat, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast, which is up every Monday if you're a $5 Patreon supporter. And so the plan is Janet's going to host this one because I will be out and then unpack everything else that has been covered. Hang on, Janet. Did you just get haunted in your room? You look terrified.
Isaiah slammed down on his desk to do what I think is killing a fly or something.
Okay, cool. Real quick. Did anybody sit through the demo for Armored Core 6? Did we get invited to that?
No, we didn't get invited. Armored Core 6, I know you're listening to this, fan of the show.
Yeah.
Hit us up. I
Yeah.
think, well, though,
Yeah.
I don't know if we had the most Armored Core centric crew to begin with, admittedly.
Well,
so.
Leo knows it
No.
pretty well. We did that new show Plus.
Yeah, we maybe could have weaseled our way in, but then it's like, what if they give us a quiz on
I know.
what's one button you
It's
press
going to be
and
those
what it
Mortal
does?
Kombat water balls all over again, you know? I don't want to live through that again. Like,
Ooh,
We politely declined our Mortal
okay,
Kombat.
is it...
water.
What?
we had this debate. Is it,
that's
is it
good
rude
extra life
to-
fuel, you idiots. What are you doing?
Well, what
doesn't
if we take
fit
it back
into the
like a
plane
million
home.
miles away? Like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, because so we got there and then they were like, oh, like if you take a seat where there's a water bottle there, you get to have the water bottle. And we're like, no, we're okay, thank you. And they're like, your water bottle's up front. And it's like, I don't like Mortal Kombat. Like I was only
What
here
the
because
fuck?
you had a you know, is it rude? Was it rude to reject the swag? Should we have taken it and just left it somewhere? Like I don't know. But
I truly couldn't have brought it home. I
Packed.
truly didn't have
Okay.
room.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, Sarah, do
I
you
also
know?
denied a Foamstars duck, and that's something I would have wanted. So I was making
I
tough
have the
calls.
Foamstars
I
Foamstars duck,
have one,
and
and I
I'm
kept
so excited
offering
about
it to
it.
Leo, and he kept denying me.
What a
I have your
gentleman.
duck, Leo.
Whatever,
I'll get that later.
whatever y'all don't want is good for Extra Life. Just in November for the whole charity auction, all that stuff. But let's see. Hey, Sarah, do you know how this whole thing operates? This whole thing that we're doing right now?
Patreon.com/MinnMax.
Leo Vader. That's right. Patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's, everybody. Hey, can I be honest with the three of you?
Is it
Yeah.
about how you don't like our logo, actually?
There's no ads.
Shut up, Sarah. That was a community meetup exclusive. No, I just wanted to be honest and say I like this episode. It's fun. It's fun to have you all unpack all these things and be jealous of the event you all got to go to. Anyways, the whole reason this thing exists is because people go to patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's and they find the tier that's right for them and they unlock exclusive benefits over there. So you can check out that link. We put that link everywhere. It's in the description here if you want to help support this program. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you as well to some of our biggest supporters. Just in case you don't know who they are, it's HelloFresh, everybody. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that is why, Leo, of course, it is America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh, everybody, check it out. They because we run ads for them on the podcast, they send us like boxes, but they only send us every quarter. And every time we don't have HelloFresh in the fridge, I do feel this feeling of like, do I need to get HelloFresh on top of the free supply of HelloFresh that we have?
You sold
it's
yourself.
Oh my God.
twist. One
That's
thing you weren't
how,
expecting.
That's right. And that's why truly, Janet, they are America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh is here to take the work out of eating well. Reach your goals with delicious calorie smart and protein smart lunch and dinner options, plus new vegan recipes as well. You can get farm to table quality with every HelloFresh box. HelloFresh's seasonal ingredients are picked at peak ripeness and they travel from the farm to your doorstep in less than 7 days for fresh flavor in every single bite guaranteed. So you can go to HelloFresh.com/MinnMax16 and use code MinnMax16 for 16 free meals plus shipping. 16 free meals. That's like a lifetime's worth of food.
That's like 3 days worth of meals.
Go to HelloFresh.com/MinnMax16. Use the code MinnMax16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. Thank you, HelloFresh. Also, thank you, of course, to Stamps.com. Everybody's favorite. Kelsey uses it all the time for Pink Gorilla. Janet Garcia is all in on Stamps.com. Janet, just today, I went to the post office and I felt like, what am I doing with my life? I could have a post office inside of my house if I just use Stamps.com.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I support from afar. I don't do enough business
Right.
to have Stamps.com, but like, I support stamps. So I was like, when I saw this coming through, I was like, yeah. And then Kelsey uses it genuinely all the time. Is like, that's her thing that she like pushes to a lot of people because it's so useful to her and her business.
That's nice. And so, they emphasize like, hey, everything's kind of going digital. You order a lot of stuff, it comes in. Why not bring your world of shipping a little bit digital as well? Why stick to old school mailing and shipping? They want you to question in your own life. If you mail or ship often, let Stamps.com do the hard part for you. You can simply print postage and shipping labels right from your home or office. It's ready to go in minutes. No long lines or complicated setup required. They have amazing partnerships with USPS and UPS for unbeatable rates, up to 84% off. They've been around for 25 years. They've been around for 25 years for a reason. Just like all of us, we've been around for that long for a reason, because we're effective. So you can avoid the hassle. Get started with Stamps.com today. You can sign up with promo code MinnMax. Leo, I know your headphones just went back on. You can sign up for promo code MinnMax if you want, for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, enter code MinnMax. There's a link in the description, everybody. Check it out, Stamps.com. Thanks for sponsoring the show.
Do you mind just repeating all that just because I was in the bathroom?
Yeah, absolutely. Stamps.com. Like when you go to the post office and it's like, oh, I wish I wasn't here. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, just go Stamps.com.
I was just thinking about that, actually.
Yeah. You can bring that post office inside of your office. What do you think of that?
Oh, I'm listening.
And then keep listening, because have you ever heard of Miracle brand sheets?
I'm still listening.
Okay. Well, like when you go to sleep at night and sometimes you're like, these sheets, too hot, too smelly, no good.
Yep. Definitely.
Okay, well that's what Miracle Brand's all about. They're here to help you out. They have self-cooling properties in these Miracle Brand sheets for better quality sleep. They use silver-infused fabrics originally inspired by NASA. Miracle-made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, all night.
All night.
So you better get better sleep every night, they say. They're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than other sheets. And honestly, the 0.3% of bacteria that are still there, those are the good bacteria.
Yeah.
You want to have them in your bed.
Probiotics in my sheets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're really cool.
No fluff.
That's right. Luxurious comfort and quality with Miracle Brand sheets. Personally, I'm probably going to be struggling to sleep in the near future. One thing I'm not worrying about is my comfy sheets, because they're Miracle Brand sheets. So you can go to trymiracle.com/MinnMax to try Miracle made sheets today. And, they say with Mother's and Father's Day right around the corner, this is the perfect way to give someone you love the gift of better and more luxurious sleep. Save 40% off and be sure to use our promo code MinnMax at checkout to save even more and get 3 free towels. As a wise man once said, Leo, don't forget to bring a towel. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/MinnMax. Use the code MinnMax to claim your free 3 towel set and save over 40% off. Trymiracle.com/MinnMax to treat yourself. Thank you to Miracle Brand sheets and Miracle Made. And
Did they send you any for your baby?
No.
Baby crib?
No, but we don't even need a crib because we can just put the Miracle Made sheets on the ground in a little nest.
In the backyard.
Yeah, I think so. And the baby will sleep like an angel in there. Thanks to NASA. Also, thank you to our friends at I'm 8-Bit. They want you to know about the Red Lantern vinyl soundtrack, everybody, available in their wonderful online store. You remember this? It was the dog mushing game from Timberline Studios. Well, the vinyl soundtrack is fantastic, and it's up in I'm 8-Bit's wonderful online store. You can go to that store. I promise you will find something that you like. Go there, and you can use the secret code, National Donut Day, no space, and you can get 10% off everything in their online store that's under $100. Just go to im8bit.com, look around at their store, and I dare you not to be impressed. You truly have to be a monster, or you must hate gaming within your heart of hearts to go to their store and not just say, damn it, that's pretty cool. You know what? I do want that vinyl soundtrack. I do want that special edition.
They're can say you hate gaming if you don't go to their store.
I think that might be scientifically accurate. So I'm8bit.com. Check them out. Help support them because they support MinnMax in a big way. Help support I Am 8-Bit because every week they ship out a prize from their wonderful online store to whoever submits the best question over on Patreon. If you support Independent Games Media, support us on Patreon, you can submit a question each and every week. We choose our favorite and they win a prize. And so this week, that person wins the Stray soundtrack. Double vinyl soundtrack. I'm8bit. We'll just mail it to your freaking house.
All the little songs?
With all the little songs about the cats. That's right. So you all...
It's cute music.
That's true.
That's great.
Remember, every single person who sent in a wonderful question here, and then we can choose the absolute best one. Okay, ready for questions, everybody?
Yeah.
All right, good. They go something like this. Andy Wera writes in, and they say, now that you've all had the streams and you attended the event, are you now more or less convinced that E3 will or even should come back? How are we feeling about our dear friend, our long-lost friend?
Back. People don't want to pay that much money.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of people want to do their own thing, even with, like, in the modern era, Nintendo Directs, PlayStation's State of Play mixed with their showcases, that's a lot of in their own air. Oh God, the truck's here. Anyway, it's a lot of their own thing. So I just feel like the industry's moved away from it, and in some ways, that can be sad for certain experiences. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, keep it rocking. It's still a great time to cover games.
It is weird. It feels like everybody's just like, you know what? It's not exactly E3, but this is about as good as you can do it right now for Summer Game Fest stuff. And like, I'd imagine the publishers are happy. I'd be curious to see like how much Summer Game Fest just keeps growing as a result of just the growing faith. But it seems like every game there got their time in the spotlight. Like Mortal Kombat 1, it feels like was, you know, and Alan Wake, like something that maybe in the E3 venue would get drowned out, but it feels like they were really highlighted in a special way. That's going to be nice for those teams. But Leo, is there any spot for this legendary thing that you never attended and never will?
I do imagine them announcing E3's happening again next year, and then now that these press conferences that had no problem of attaching themselves to Summer Game Fest now would have to like choose which one. It's really hard to picture.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, it sucks that there's no consumer facing side of it for the consumers who want it, for sure. But I don't know what the industry is missing right now.
Yeah. I mean, other than just, you know, there's the whole mess with the indie mix, right, where their venue shut down and the Completionist invited everybody over to their place to stream all that, which is a cool little story. But like maybe there's some venue just like, oh, can the public just go someplace and play a lot of indie games? But I guess the answer is
they can go to the mix. The mix is a public event.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. And that's just kind of PAX. And so I think now with like 2 solid years under their belt, I think it's really tough for E3 to get back in any
especially
meaningful
since
way.
E3 pulled out so late this year.
Right.
A lot of publishers who had things that were going on had to scramble, and I think it's going to be hard to like get that trust back.
Yeah.
If at all, from publishers who literally had to like pivot hard and like redo their entire scheduling and like redo what they were going to show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like for the public, like there's a bunch of demos that seem now that it's easier to get demos. I feel like tacking on a bunch of demos to something like a Summer Game Fest would be kind of nice. Make it more of like an event.
That'd be cool.
And then people who live outside of LA actually get to enjoy it for once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, HGF 2024 already got announced, which was kind of a lot to, like, I didn't need to see that.
Are we
tweet,
invited?
You know?
Are we
I
invited
hope so.
back?
I think we did a good job. My unbiased opinion is that we did a good job.
Did anybody talk to Keeley? Did we see him?
Saw him a lot.
He appeared like a ghost.
Yeah, like a little Hauntii.
But yeah, like a little Hauntii, but did not approach him.
He didn't even mention your energy once?
No, but the person at the Sonic booth actually did.
What?
She was like, "Is this weird? Like, you have amazing energy." And I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you this. You're not the first person who's ever told me that." So, you know.
Do you think like
I didn't say that.
That is weird. That Summer Game Fest 2 years in a row, people are like, your energy? Like, what do you, just something about you in LA, you just radiate differently?
Sarah has great energy. Like, differently. Like,
yeah, have you met me?
Yeah, like, it's funny because before we did this, like, I don't know, maybe this is too much to say, but like Ben mentioned, like, how funny Leo is, which is true. And like Leo, oh my God, Leo was killing it with like, you could have Leo do a skit and he would just knock it out of the park.
What?
So that is true. But like, can we give some flowers to how funny Sarah is?
It's ridiculous.
Like, I am referencing, like, Sarah made so many, it's nonstop jokes between Sarah and Leo, really, and that's why like I had to go to a different zone where now I have to try to back out because I'm like I can't make everything a joke every 2 seconds. But Sarah and Leo are just so effortlessly funny, and it's like, yeah, it is very much Sarah and Leo. That's not just to discount myself, but you know, like Sarah's energy is so simply contentable, you know? It's just like put a camera on Sarah and it's funny every time.
I know.
And, like Sarah can just do stuff and it's just like, I don't know. I love Sarah. So there you go.
It is
spoilers for the vlog.
It is supernatural, Sarah. I hope you're aware of it. It is bizarre. Like both you and Leo just have the ability of like, all right, you know, like when we went to see Summer Games Done Quick and stuff, just like having full confidence. Like if I take my obnoxious camera and put it in someone's face, like, especially for the two of you, it's like, I just feel like I'm in such good hands and something funny will come out within seconds. And that is super rare because most people just look with a blank stare and say, get that thing out of my face, you monster. So thank you, too, for being funny. And Janet as well. This isn't just a Sarah and Leo show.
Hey, man, Sarah and Leo are more personal to me. That's just facts. Like,
okay.
You're among the cult followings within MinnMax. Like I feel like I do mention like Leo and Jeffem a lot.
Right.
But Sarah has her own thing, especially with like the chaos of the Twitch streams and stuff. Like, yeah.
Congratulations, Sarah. You've got your own thing.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will say, yeah, Leo made me
us.
like laugh out loud multiple times on this trip and just like keel over multiple times. But part of that, you're like, is it because I've been on this trip and around these people for 6 days?
A little bit.
You know,
maybe.
like we were all a little punch drunk by the end of it.
Yes, we entered the loopy zone like evening 2.
Yeah, and then I like never came back. Like I'm still not back now. That's why I'm like, I don't know if we should be recording any of this, but this is just how we are. It's like
I will literally have to watch the travelogue because I don't remember most of what happened.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun.
For sure, certain things we've talked about have been like, oh my god, that was an eternity ago. I can't believe we
know. Like, remember when the mix was canceled? That feels like 8 years ago.
Yes, we like found out and went through that all in the vlog.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun. Simon Kerwin writes in and says, hey MinnMaxonians, that's us. With so many good games coming out and so many more to come, which game do you know you're most going to regrettably skip out on that you probably won't go back to play? We're talking like in this era, in this zone release schedule. Is there something that already you're like, I can't?
Can you
I feel
run
like
through what we have coming
Starfield-
up?
Starfield for me looks too big. Like that looks like it's going to be something I tackle during like games winter when no games come out, but not in time to talk about it for GOTY because I assume everyone else is going to talk about it.
Yeah. I'm already stressed out just about like where we're at right now. Just Diablo 4 in particular. Where I've been like, oh, I need to get to that.
Yeah.
Like I really like playing Diablo 3. I gotta get to it. And I started it up the other day and started up a Necromancer build and all this stuff. And maybe I just wasn't in the right mood, but it was like, you know, super early on, there's a cutscene of like people murdering a guy. I was like, I don't want to look at this right now in my life. I'm going to go back and play Zelda. And yeah, I know that makes me a big old baby and I'm scared of Satan. Boo hoo hoo. I get it. But it's like, there's one part of me that's like, maybe I just won't get to Diablo 4.
Fear of Satan, you know? Doesn't hurt you. Can't hurt.
I don't know if I'll get to it. I don't know if I'll go back in a big way, but we'll see what
I
the
do the same
schedule's
build,
like.
by the way. We're build twins.
Ooh, nice.
Necromancer, yeah.
Yeah, it seems fun. Anything else that people are...
It is an interesting fine line of, like I know it's pretty good and I would probably have a good enough time, but I'm not going to get around to it. I feel like I don't think I'm going to get to Spider-Man 2.
Really?
Wow.
I don't feel like I don't think I will. There's so much coming that seems like it's going to be a softball to slip through the cracks in my life. Just knowing myself.
Drake Heinhorst wrote in saying, hey, MinnMax, I'd like to officially request that you do the deepest dive for the biggest game of October 2023. That's right.
Honestly, Leo needs to be on it.
I'm talking about Alan Wake 2. Drake says, in all seriousness, I know that Spider-Man 2 would probably get more views, but I would hate to see one of my favorite game franchises not get the coverage it deserves. Let me know what tier of Patreon I need to pledge to make it happen. P.S. If this does happen, you need a lore expert like Michael Huber from Easy Allies to round out the crew. That does sound fun. That is going to be a tough call, having Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2 so close together. Like, I can't guarantee we'll do a deepest dive on one of them, but it seems like we will, and making that choice is going to be tough.
That's interesting. It's like it's a specific choice of reaching out to the niche or going for the broad.
Yeah, but like, you know, niche, but still, there would be an audience for Alan Wake 2, but
definitely.
I wonder, I mean, I have a lot of faith in our community. It feels like one that maybe we should do a poll for, of like Patreon supporters. Because I could see Alan Wake 2 winning. And then if Spider-Man 2 wins, it's like we can't get yelled at.
Interesting. You know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, no offense to like superhero stuff,
Yep.
but also Alan Wake 2 feels like much more of a deviation than Spider-Man 2 is in terms of like the content and the continued through line. Yeah, I mean, I think probably just put it to the community, you know, because like, that's kind of the whole point, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think there's always that fine line between you want the views and you want the clicks and you want that because it inherently generate more money, which will generate more like bring more people on or pay the people you have more or maybe build more stuff, you know, like it all goes back into it. But if the point is to like be alternative, it's like now's the time to get weird for the people who can't get weird. Like we got to do that. Even though Alan Wake 2 is not that weird, but you know,
I know. We're making it seem like some little indie game. Like,
it's like, oh, the super mainstream game that was like behind closed doors and all that. But
Right.
I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, I fear, because it's coming in October during Alan Wake 2 and during Spider-Man and all that. That seems like a good slip through the cracks for me as someone new to the franchise too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Also, I'm not burying old Spidey yet, but just thinking about the deepest dive on it. Like we did the game club back at Game Informer for the first Spider-Man, and we did Miles Morales here. Like maybe we're kind of Spider-Man'd out. We'll leave it up to the community. Let's see.
I'm already like concerned for the GOTY talks this year because there's just so many like giant games.
Yeah.
I mean, from what we were talking about Summer Game Fest, I was like, we already kind of know where we're leaning, and it's not in the same direction on anything.
Wait, we're not all Tears of the Kingdom, Lock and Load, Good Day?
Ben, no.
Wait, really?
Ben.
I
What
like
am I
it a lot,
missing?
but it won't be my number one.
I think there's gonna be a
Whoa,
lot, but there'll be
what?
more of a split. Like it'll
Oh,
probably be my
sorry.
number one.
Is this news to you?
Yeah, this is genuinely a surprise. I thought it was going to be a
Spoilers
thing
for
that we all
the
had to
end of the year.
pretend that, oh
It's
no.
supposed for the end of the year, Ben.
Wait, Sarah, what is yours right now?
Baldur's Gate 3. It's not even out
Oh,
yet.
okay. Okay.
Classic.
Sure.
You're like, I can
Call
roll
your-
over that easily.
Oh,
your
yeah,
shot.
we got it.
Well, at least
At least
we'll
give me
have
the
maybe a
Kelsey
real
treatment this
dialogue.
year.
Yes.
The Kelsey treatment's reserved for new Kelsey. Even now, Kelsey's the bloom's off the rose. We're gonna destroy her in those arguments now.
I feel like though we need easy road reparations then because we never got that the first year. Like I came here the first year. I don't think anyone was
I
like,
know.
oh, like,
What if-
you know, like
I
they were
think-
just like, oh God, stop talking.
Bradley Default 2. Hey, I'm a
No,
Biggie
no,
Boy
no.
writes in. They say, hey everybody.
Wait, no,
not
no,
enough
give you
love.
credit. Was that you being nice to me? Bradley
I think it
Default
was.
2?
I think it was a little bit. I
feel like, well, hold on. Because you being nice is still mean then. Because you didn't let it be on. Jeffem had to come and save that game from the trash.
I don't remember exactly how it
Run the
broke
tape.
down, but
Run the
it's
tape.
right.
If that's you being nice, what's you being mean?
You don't want to see.
Scared for
You
Also,
don't want
wasn't
to
it
see.
like at 17 or something?
What's that, Leo?
Bravely
It
Default
was
that
really
like
low,
18?
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 20.
I think it was 20. I think it's
It was
stuck in
literally
that 20.
not on, and then Jeffem came back and was like, I think we should put this on because Janet really likes it.
Yep.
So,
And Forza Horizon 5 didn't make the cut, which still kills me. But you know what? Their lists. Who can say?
says the list maker. You know? Like it's always the guardian of the key who's like, oh, did you want to come in here? There's nothing here, you know? It's like, anyway, but.
I'm a Biggie Boy writes in and says, hey, everybody, not enough love has gone to Leo for leading the deepest dive on Like a Dragon Ishin earlier this year. I quite enjoyed getting to hear
Yay.
about it from him, Sarah, and Jacob, and Michael Hyam. Look at that.
Thank you. Great crew on that one.
Great crew. Check it out, everybody. Oh, by the way, I'm sure there's Yakuza / Like a Dragon news because that live stream is going up tonight, but obviously we haven't seen it yet. So sorry, but what's better than the subtitle Infinite Wealth? Isn't that just delightfully
Yes,
weird?
that's really good.
Okay, let's see. Tom Blackburn writes in and they ask, is it even possible to catch up on the Like a Dragon / Judgment / Yakuza series at the rate they're releasing games? How Long to Beat has them averaging at 28 hours to go through the critical path and averaging 113 hours for a completionist run across all titles. At this rate, could they actually be turning people away from trying them by releasing so many of these things?
Well, I think that's why they changed the name from Yakuza
Yep.
to Like a Dragon. Because they wanted to give people a jumping on point now that they're getting such good press. And I think that's why they were like, well, if we just we rename it, and then they don't put numbers on it anymore, the Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, it's not called Yakuza 8.
Yep.
Or Like a Dragon 8. And I think that's so people don't get intimidated because people aren't as familiar, because we all know Final Fantasy, they all have numbers on it, but they don't actually go chronologically. And that's just kind of we all kind of know that, not maybe everyone, but most people. But for Yakuza, they do actually go chronologically. But that doesn't mean that you have to play every single one, is what I've learned after playing 6 of them chronologically.
It is bananas. I'm very impressed. I mean, have you finished 6 yet?
No, I'm on 5, but I'm
Okay.
counting 0, so I've technically played 6.
Oh, confusing. Okay.
So I'm stuck on 5.
Honestly,
Emotionally, morally, I'm stuck on 5.
Will you make it to Infinite Wealth in time?
No, absolutely
Oh,
not.
okay,
Because I have to
okay.
make it through Like a Dragon first, and that's huge.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it is.
And then Gaiden, is
That's
coming
the
out too,
one.
and like that's after 6. I
Yep.
feel like they're doing this on purpose. I feel like they're targeting me.
They're definitely trying to capitalize, and they definitely could take the opportunity to pare it down a little bit and make it more approachable. Like that was their big opportunity with 7 and the big reset. But God, one of the biggest. Truly, maybe I'm the only one who thinks this, but it feels like one of the biggest localization whiffs of all time. It's now called Like a Dragon. Like, what is that? It's a play on Like a Virgin, but it's like a dragon because the guy from the old games is the Dragon of Dojima, but you're not supposed to play those. You can start with this one.
It's the Japanese name.
But change it.
Yeah, but it's like, no, I 100% see what Leo's saying with that. You know, like, they called it Yakuza, but it really doesn't have a lot to do with Yakuza. And then they called it Like a Dragon, but it's like more like symbolically like a dragon. And I don't know if like the new guy's as much of a dragon.
Yeah.
Because he's not the Dragon of Dojima anymore. So it's like.
Yakuza is such a better name, but I know they had other reasons for not wanting to continue being named after that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It is so tough. And we talked about it a little bit last week on the last episode, but it's like the franchise is doing so well, but I do feel like there is just like this weird confusion where they're like, hey, Yakuza Like a Dragon, come on in. It's a great starting point. A lot of people did, and they said this rules. And now I think with Ishin and then Gaiden and now Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, it's like people are confused out there, I think. Not the people
right
listening
back
to this.
being confusing,
yeah, right. But if you're listening to this, you probably understand it. But I think the casual fans, even if they liked Like a Dragon or Yakuza Like a Dragon, like Yakuza 7, they're already like, what do I need to pay attention to now? It's a little confusing.
It's getting a little Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
like,
no.
Don't
story
you utter those
explanation when
words.
it
Kingdom
comes
Hearts
to
Kiss
the
of
titles.
Death. I'm starting that game like next month.
I'm curious to see what you think of it.
You can find out what I think about it by watching my Twitch stream or my YouTube VOD. So.
There it is.
There you
Twitch.tv/
Twitch.tv/GameOnysus, YouTube.com/GameOnysus. I'm
There it
GameOnysus
is.
everywhere. It's GameOnysus.
Beefcake.
Always be selling.
That's right.
I was saying MinnMax with 2 N's the whole weekend.
You
I
told
was
Todd
shouting from the
Howard.
rooftops.
You told Todd Howard MinnMax with 2 N's.
I don't know if I told him MinnMax with 2 N's. I think I just said
Okay.
MinnMax.
Ooh,
but
okay.
I hit. But you
But
know,
he said that he knew us.
he kind
right?
of acted like he knew us. He was
I'll
like,
take it.
So he said, "Oh, you guys will be like playing Starfield soon, right?" Like, but I don't know if that was like a. I'm
No,
like,
God.
do we have code for that? Like, can
No.
you give me? I'm like, you're probably not in charge of that, so it's like, whatever. He's like, no, but you know, like, da da da. And I'm like, okay. He didn't act like I don't know what this is, but does he know what it is? I don't know. Todd Howard, fan of the show, in my
Todd
mind.
was also a little like he expected me to be Blumpo in real life, but it's
Is
like,
that right?
oh, dude, I'm like,
Right.
Yeah, it broke the immersion for him. That's why Leo couldn't say hi to him. You can't break the immersion.
Yeah, I get it.
Right.
I think Todd Howard might recognize me out of a lineup of like that dweeb that was annoying at Game Informer that I made videos with, but I would be surprised if he was like, MinnMax, I know that's the name. I mean, but maybe he's pretty
Maybe now he
plugged in.
does, because maybe now he will. I don't know.
don't know.
He didn't have any drinks when I talked to him
Okay.
that I saw him consume. You know.
Okay.
What he did before, I don't know. I wasn't with him the whole day.
And you should have been. Next year, we'll follow him around all day.
Oh, God.
Beefcake writes in and says, I can't think of a question, so I'll just type in what and keep tapping the center autocorrect on my phone.
nice.
Nice.
So the question is, what do I need for that question? And I can do a search on it for the answers? Perfect, says Beefcake. I just wanted to ask you guys. Yeah.
Question of the week right there.
That's
That question, I guess.
solid.
Yeah. Do you use autocorrect? I'm trying to figure out how to answer it.
You can't answer. Philly Eatsteak writes in and says, welcome back, crew. Not a question, but I need to know Leo's thoughts about Riders Republic getting skateboarding added as a sport.
Oh yeah, thank
Isn't
you.
that a question?
I guess it is kind of a question, yeah.
Can I know his thoughts?
Oh,
He just needs to
disqualified.
know. Yeah, you like that, Leo? Do you like
Yeah,
that?
I'm super excited for that. It's not till September, but they're doing an open beta I signed up for. See if I
Nice.
can get into that.
Did you?
But it's cool. I'm optimistic. I think the controls of Riders Republic, it's built to lend itself to a bunch of different sports, and for that it might not be quite as complicated or like deep
yeah.
as a skate or something. It'll be a little kind of a softer, fluffier version of it, but I'm still totally excited about that and down for that. And all the BMX stuff they added previously, the BMX parks and stuff, that'll apply, like, that'll work great for skateboarding.
Did you see Hellskate?
No.
This is a game that was shown during Day of the Devs.
Yes, we did. Day of the Devs, right?
It's Day of the Devs.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, sweet. I'm curious about Leo because the whole premise is like, oh, it's like
Damn, my bad. I misread that.
No,
Sorry.
you're fine. You're fine. No, there's a specific reason.
No,
but
no
it's
one
like,
important saw it.
No.
So.
This is a specific thing. But like, oh, it's like, oh, you're a skateboarder and you're in hell, and there's like melee combat, and it's like a skateboarding roguelite. But it's from a designer from Tony Hawk Underground, one of your favorite games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Called Blake Hester.
Oh,
the main Underground man.
Oh, you're a secondary Underground fan?
An American Wasteland.
American Wasteland. Sorry. Ooh, I blew it. Oh, Brian Tylek writes in, what an appropriate name. They say, hey everyone, my absolute favorite thing about this year's Summer Game Fest was the droid ND5, who was just randomly wearing a jacket and a belt in the Star Wars Outlaws footage from the Ubisoft Forward showcase. Yeah, I like the idea of a droid being called Endy because it's kind of like Andy. That's a good droid name. And I feel like they're already
You
kind
mean
of.
the droid that everyone was thirsting over on my Twitter?
They were?
Yeah.
God damn it! Can you just shut down Twitter? Like, what's going on over there? All right, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I meant to say, yeah, that super sexy droid that we all should be.
You didn't start it with that. I was like, the what droid?
Yeah.
The hot one. Oh, the hot one.
Is it
yes,
just?
I know exactly what you mean.
It's because if you put like pants on C-3PO, everyone would be like, take those pants off. Is it just the idea of like a droid is covered up, so therefore it's more alluring? Is that
I
the
think
idea?
this one had a bit of a cool dude attitude.
Is
you know?
that
He kind of reminded me of that droid from Rogue One. Like the mean
K2SO.
one. Like he kind of has a similar design.
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Not that I'm not one of the thirst.
No
droid
one's
people,
pointing fingers. Everyone's
but,
cool
you
here.
know.
Anyways, yeah, that droid did seem cool. It seems like they're, especially like with the droid wearing clothes, it seems like, and even in that footage, it seems like they're already kind of toying with the ideas of kind of the droid racism in the Star Wars universe, which I know, they've touched on a little bit even recently in The Mandalorian again and stuff. But I can see that being a big theme is ND being like, why are they so mean to us? And it's because they're robots. Rory writes in and says, hey, CLCs, long time, first time here. With the Reddit blackouts this week, I found myself going back to something I haven't done in a while, reading books and articles instead of scrolling for hours. It's honestly really refreshing. I was wondering what your takes are in this situation. Personally, I'll probably end up having to return for niche school, gaming, and software dev subreddits after a break, but it's definitely made me reflect on the amount of time I waste each day on Reddit.
Yeah.
Can someone explain what is going on with Reddit now?
So they're changing the rules of their API so that if other people want to tap into it to make third-party apps or whatever, it is way, 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 way more money. And so the big one, I think it's the big one. It's the one I use. It's called Apollo. That's like a better app than Reddit. Much more usable. It's like they put a post out that was just like, yeah, we just have to shut down. There's just nothing to be done about this.
Ugh.
And so the blackout is in protest of that. And yeah, the issue that people have pointed out already is that they're like, and we're going to do a blackout across all these subs, going private for 2 days and then back to normal. And it's not enough to get in the way a protest needs to be heard.
Right.
It really needs to be more obstructive, because it is. When those subs go private, people Googling, searching for answers or little tidbits or even, of course, discussions about things, it'll take them to a page that they can't access.
Right. Yeah, it is. I know this is the most simplistic, stupid thing, but why are all these companies getting really greedy now? Like, it seems like
it's
Twitch.
hard to monetize social media platforms, and it's hard to like provide shareholders with continued growth.
Yeah.
And so forcing users onto your platform, similarly to how Twitch doesn't let you run your own ads anymore,
Right.
is a way for them to continue to get their cut, so they can continue to provide infinite growth, essentially.
That is the real poison, is the infinite wealth of it all. Having to grow as we're just like, we're experiencing these companies getting older and older and being beholden to their shareholders for longer and longer, and they're getting more and more desperate.
I know we've talked about it before again, but just like I was looking up some gaming articles recently, and just every time I do it, or I'm just like looking for like, oh, where is the Great Fairy Fountain and Tears of the Kingdom, just like basic stuff, just like the average interface for a website on my phone, if you just stop and look like what is going on here, it is the most obnoxious, unusable nightmare of just like 4 layers of ads on each other. And I just think of like,
it's like a Ready
doing
Player
this?
One or something where you're like fighting your way through
Yes.
things to get to what you're getting to. That's how it feels finding a recipe and trying to get to the part where the ingredients are listed.
I just don't understand.
All the way at the bottom.
Uber W177, a bit of a droid themselves. They say, hello, MinnMax. So I'd like to give, what's that?
Said hot.
Yeah, oh, they're hot, no doubt. So I like to give nice, hearty hugs to everyone I know. I've been doing it for a year or so, and recently I stopped doing it because I've been in a hurry or something has my attention.
Really on the move this last year.
I guess
Holy
so,
cow.
yeah.
Good for you.
Over a week or so, everyone has asked me what's going on and if something's the matter. And I found out it was because I hadn't given them a hug. So here's my question. Do you normally do something with everyone you meet, handshake, hug, etc.? And have you ever stopped doing it and that makes them ask if something is up? Interesting.
I mean, I'm not like meeting enough people on a daily basis for them to be like a hug, you know?
Right,
I'm not like running into people enough for them to know my signature greeting.
Yeah. But like if you're going over to a friend's place for dinner or something, you walk in the door, is there a hug involved?
No, probably
Okay.
not.
Probably
Hugs
not.
are like for family, and it's for like when you're leaving family events.
Okay.
You got to go do your hug rounds.
Right.
But I'm not. I think it's because I'm so short. I'm not really a hug enjoyer. Because usually I'm just getting crushed to death by the person taller than me.
You're suffocating.
Hugging Janet and I acted like a park couple in Nintendo World. But like
yeah.
hugging Janet, like perfect height.
Exactly.
Your neck's hit the shoulder at like the right level. But most tall people, you know, it's like
Glad it was good for you
you're
too.
being
You
hanged.
know?
Don't hug me.
Some of those park couple photos didn't make it to Instagram because I'm like, this actually just looks like we're a real couple. And honestly, we looked really good together.
Honestly,
Like-
MinnMax wasn't ready for that.
No. That stays in my phone for my own use. But then it's
Alright.
weirder, so I'll probably just delete them. I don't know. You know what I mean?
You
I'll
can't
send them
win
to
no
you.
matter what.
You could do what you want with them.
Leo,
Anyway.
you go hug?
I'm a handshake guy who wishes he was a hug guy.
Really?
Why aren't you
seem
hug?
huggable.
Yeah, go for a hug. People, no one's
Yeah,
gonna
when
object
everybody
to that.
says, "Are you a hug person?" I say, "Of course I am."
Right.
Oh
Deep
yeah,
down.
I hugged you. I feel like at some point.
You did. It's in the
Yeah,
travelogue.
I don't prompt it. If the other person's suggested, I'm super stoked.
Why aren't you a hug person? What's wrong with you?
Something about the way I was raised. I was like, I didn't hug my dad for the longest time in my adulthood. It just kind of fell out of habit, and I didn't do it forever. And I talked to my friend Joe about that.
Leo?
Oh man.
Is this the ghost of your father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never
hug
hugged
you,
me.
Leo's dad doesn't want us to know.
Leo's lights just shut off. For
Yeah.
Can you hear me
listeners.
still?
Yeah, we got you.
can, yeah. It was a little spooky though for the people watching the video version,
It's
but
hilarious.
Did you blow
My
a breaker?
monitor just turned itself off, and my keyboard,
Oh,
and my
no.
mouse, but it just moved over to my other monitor, so I'll just be
Okay.
over here for a second.
Oh,
like,
okay,
sure.
cool.
My father never hugged me. Dun dun.
yeah, that's scary.
Your keyboard's typing the word hug me, hug me, hug me over and over and over again? That seems weird.
It turned me into the man I am today. My
That
friend
was
Joe
actually kinda good.
suggested.
Have you thought of doing VO? That was like that
was
was
good.
good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
anybody can use that. He suggested just you go for the handshake and then you pull him into a hug.
Oh.
No way
And then I
out.
did that a few times, and then we just started hugging for real, and that was the good
That's
build up.
nice.
But there is something, yeah, I don't know, physical affection.
Yeah, it's good. I typically default to hug. But every once in a while I'll get waffly and be like, I don't know.
It depends on the
hugs are weird.
context. Like
yeah.
if I like, you know, back to my friend Eddie who like lives here in like the LA area, like if I were to go to his house or he were to come to my house, I'd probably just be like, hey, what's up, man? Because like we know each other more and we've seen each other. But when he leaves, I do give him a hug goodbye. Versus like if I went to your house, even though it's still a house, I would probably give you a hug because I'm from out of town.
Out of
And I give
town.
you a
Out of town's
goodbye, you know?
necessary hug. Yep.
So, and then for people that I am meeting, depending on if I know them already, like we're kind of like Twitter mutuals, we're like pseudo friends, and
Yeah.
I know it's cool. I'll like go in for the hug. I probably should double check a little bit more now looking back, just because some people really don't like hugs, and
Yeah.
then you know. So I think a good way is like, are you here for like hug or high five or like hug or fist bump or like whatever? It's nice to give people options. And then it was funny because I hugged Jen from Papa Agenda, who I've seen before. Like she's made me like breakfast before, so like I know
Damn.
Jen. But then she had her colleague who I never met. And I was like, you know, because I hugged her, I hugged George also from Papa Agenda,
Yep.
and like then there's this other colleague, and I was kind of like, hey, like I'm down to give you a hug, but like I didn't want to like just hug you because I met you
Right.
2 seconds ago, and I don't even know if we've exchanged names.
That's
I did
tricky.
end up hugging them, but I did have that conversation with them where I'm like, I don't want to not hug you, like I'm hug shunning you, but
Yeah.
I literally have talked to them a bunch, and George is like, I can't wait to see you, like we've never met before. versus you, who I met like 2 seconds
It's
ago.
tough.
You know,
It's tough. I think I told the story before, but yeah, I was at an E3 and we're at some party, and I thought I recognized somebody. I have very bad facial recognition, and I gave him a big hug, like, "Hey, good to see you." And it turns out it was some guy in the industry's wife who just happened to be there, and it's like immediately was like, "Big old hug."
Oh no!
Just the worst.
I'm sure it's fine.
It was
Do you lay awake
fine.
at night thinking about that?
What's that?
I would. Do you lay awake at night
Yeah.
thinking about
Oh,
that
absolutely.
moment? Yeah.
Absolutely, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for a lot of people, like for this weekend, who I like maybe didn't know as well, like I see like Blessing, Sarah, Leo, like all those people, I like give them a hug. For people I was introduced to the first time, I gave them a handshake, like
Well, sure.
like everybody else basically. Even if they were kind of cool, like when I like met Patrick, I think I gave him a handshake because I was like, hey, like good to see you. First time we're meeting each other in person, like what? So it just. Maybe next time I would hug him, but it's like that kind of thing where it's like when I'm meeting for the first time, I usually just go with a handshake.
I offended somebody with a handshake at GDC where we went out for karaoke.
Okay.
And it was like a long night of karaoke, a lot of drunken duets and dorky stuff. It's kind of like a smaller karaoke group. And this person was very nice. And then it was like, all right, well, heading out. See ya. And then it was like, all right, well, good to meet you. Went for a handshake. And she's like, you're going to give me a hint after everything we've just been through? We just sang
valid.
into the same microphone for like 4 hours,
She's
dude.
so valid for that.
Yeah.
nice.
I've never had it reverse shamed. It was interesting phenomenon. Adam wrote in and said, hey, Ben, since it might be the last time we see you until late August, could you give us your takes now on all the news and events that will or could happen over the next 2 months?
Oh, yeah, we can just drop them in. So actually just say these things very clearly, and I'll just dub over it if it's wrong, you know?
Okay. Everybody 1-2 switch. I can't believe it's Jeffrum's game of the year, and that he exclusively got the code for it, and that he really enjoyed it, and that everybody got to sit around the campfire and listen to Jeffrum monologue about everybody 1-2 switch. Really, no matter what, make sure Jeffrum gets that code. I beg of you.
Okay.
He's going to try and pass it off, and Janet, you're a real go-getter. You're going to be like, I'll play it, but don't do it.
No.
Make
Beat it.
sure Jeffrum.
I don't want to play it. Why should I?
Okay, make
It's
sure
not gonna be
Jeffrum
good.
torches it. That's right.
But I'm happy for Jeffum, though.
We're all happy for Jeffrum.
Who really loves it.
He hated that first game so much. Let's see. Pikmin 4 is out in July. So
Yeah, tell me if that game is good right now.
yeah, Pikmin 4. It's more approachable than Pikmin 3, but still, why aren't more people celebrating it? It's good. Don't be intimidated by Pikmin, everybody. And I'm glad that TikTok really picked up on that end credits theme for Pikmin 4, and it's become the hot new craze. Let's see, Madden NFL 24. I can't believe Jacob Geller went all in on Madden NFL 24. It seems like a weird fit, but he loves it. Go Rams, he says. And then in mid-August, I still can't believe people are screaming about Crash Team Rumble. At some point, you guys, we need to talk about something else on a podcast other than Crash Team Rumble. Come on, everybody.
We did play that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
We did.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't very fun, but I felt like I just got a bad character that I couldn't do very much with.
Ripperoo.
The dial guy.
Crocodile. Wait, no, not
No, that
crocodile.
can't be right.
Stop. Everyone stop the podcast. I can't remember this freaking guy's name.
And you can't look at chat.
I'm not looking at chat. He's like an Australian guy.
Someone in chat said it, so definitely look at chat. And yes, they're very right.
It's
You
an
want a hint?
Australian animal for the first half?
Yeah,
It is an
uh-huh.
animal.
Yeah, yes.
Is
You
it?
want a hint?
Yeah.
It's alliteratory, so it has alliteration. So blank blank is their name. Same letter for beginning of each part, because that's what alliteration means. For
Yeah.
people listening who might
And
not
it's
know.
something dial?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Let's throw out some D words.
What? Do you want another hint?
Is it dingo dial?
Yes.
Yes.
Good job.
Why does that
Ben.
not
That's
sound
good
right?
gaming right there.
I don't know. It
Dingo
doesn't- it
dial.
doesn't
the
sound
dingo
right.
HL baby. Yeah, dingo dial.
All right. Anyways, Leo, we can't talk about Crash Team Rumble on the podcast anymore. We got to let it go. We get it.
Also, wait, a tease for
I
the
digress.
vlog. Someone I got on the vlog said it was their favorite game that they played.
Ooh, I do
says
like that
that?
person.
Now I
We
need
don't
to know.
I like
We
that
don't have to suck you
person.
in,
I like that
So you
person.
don't have to watch like 8 hours of content. But everyone else should, because we live the 8 hours of content, so it's a little bit different. It's too fresh. Gotta let it cook for a little bit.
Did you honestly? You're not a narcissist. How many of you went back and looked at sections of the Giant Bomb part that you were on just to see like how it came across and stuff?
No, I don't want to.
I was afraid to. What if I watch it? I'm worried about it.
Well,
I want to leave it all on the couch.
okay, smart.
I'm intimidated for now, but I will at some point, definitely.
Okay, that sounds fun. Let's see. What do y'all like for a question of the week?
I like the autocorrect AI generated one.
Well, we all love that one. It's timeless. I mean, it's not like the smartest question, but I do like Drake talking about Alan
Why
Wake
so
2.
mean to the question?
No, it's just
It's an inside thought, Ben.
You're right. The deepest dive, you're absolutely right. The deepest dive for Alan Wake 2 versus Spider-Man. I think that's an interesting.
You just liked talking through your thought process on stream.
Can you run
I
through a
like the
couple
one
of
about
them?
you making guesses for when
Okay.
you were gone.
Oh, I
Okay.
do like that one.
That's
I did
good.
like.
I
that
liked
one, yeah.
that one.
All right. Are we leaning that way as a group?
I think so. I feel like I feel
Because
bad
the
'cause I
other
feel
one
I
just
kinda
felt like
forgot
I
some of
was
the
in a
other
Monday
ones.
meeting with you.
Okay. I like the hug one.
That one's good.
Hug was good.
It bricked my computer though, so I'm biased.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah, it's no good. Okay, let's give it up to Adam. Congratulations. You just won a vinyl soundtrack from I Am 8-Bit for Stray. And now, of course, it's time for something that we call Get a Load of This. Hooah! Leo, what do you got, man?
Well, I can't pull it up anymore because again, my mouse and keyboard are out of commission. But I believe, get a load of this, that where's Waldo? His name's Wally in other parts of the
Get
world.
out
Shut
of
up.
here.
I swear to God. And you know what? I said, why? What happened there? He was Wally first.
No.
He's really Wally.
No, Leo, don't. It's just
Waldo's a rebrand. It's true.
just in the U.S.?
Just in the U.S.
It's weird that in this era where all companies care about is IP, that there hasn't been like a big Waldo show on Netflix or like a movie. Like, it's a universal brand, right?
You're right, but don't put that out in the world, man.
Yeah.
Also, I know this is also cliche,
cut that
but
part
like,
out of the show.
I think also like it is ungodly that Animorphs, that people haven't like
That's true.
made a boatload of money somehow off of that. Like, just make an Animorphs TV show. Done and done. People will sign up for Peacock for that crap.
Wait, they made one. What are you talking about?
Well, they made one in the 90s. I'm saying like a reboot
Yeah.
or a new one. Yeah.
The author has a lot of integrity. I wouldn't be surprised if it was her decision or something.
Speaking of integrity, she turned me down for a MinnMax interview. She was one of the first MinnMax interviews I tried to get with K.A. Applegate. She said, I'm busy, thank you.
Try it again now that we're known. We're making a little splash. You know?
Todd Howard knows us, K.A.
Yeah.
Well, it's Todd Howard's
I
MinnMax.
made him know us. And I'm sure he's like, wow, I love being in this conversation.
What a hoot.
Yeah. Mhm.
Sarah, you got something?
I accidentally said mine, but it was that the Hauntii art was all drawn on Procreate.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Which is an iPad. Yeah, sorry, I really phoned it in this week, you guys.
Never make the
Been
first part
rough.
of the show interesting. You save all interesting parts to the end. Links below for, there's a timestamp for earlier in the episode where Sarah said it. Janet, what do you got?
Thank you, Ben.
I got, if you're all familiar with Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, like, do you know about this NBA athlete?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm making it interactive this time. It's like I usually don't ask, do you know the thing I'm going to tell you about? I don't know why I did that, but I did. I'm not an NBA fan or anything, but I've been seeing this like kind of pop up on social media, and I'm obsessed with this man's attitude towards his job, where he's very much is like, this is just a job. Like, nobody likes their job, or maybe somebody does. Like, I don't know. I won the championship, but I really just want to go home. Like, can we go home now? There's a video of him like in the thing I'm doing for my Gilla. This link is like the TikTok clip with like his interview and like some of the B-roll underneath it. And he's literally like, they pass him the champagne bottle, and I've never seen someone so slowly and unenthusiastically shake a champagne bottle with like two suds popping out of it. Like this man is tired. And he does good work, and he's like really good at what he does, but he's like, you know what? It's not everything. I really like my horses on the weekends. Like, someone asked him like if he's gonna watch like the MVP like thing where, because I think he is MVP, and he's like, no, because I don't work on Sundays. And I stan a boundaries with work king. Like, I'm gonna get a jersey of this man, and I don't watch basketball because he's wonderful. I love him.
That sounds sweet. Hey, get a load of this. Leo, pop quiz. Is human breast milk vegan?
I'm scared for why you
Yes.
got down this rabbit hole to get
That's
get a little of
little-
this, but I'm not gonna think about it too
It's
hard.
generally just, believe it or not, when you're having a kid, you talk constantly. And I love it about having a kid. But that was something we were talking about yesterday, just like as a stupid thought experiment. It's like, I don't know. Turns out.
I'm gonna say no. As a woman, I've suffered,
Uh-huh.
and I don't think the product could be considered vegan because I have suffered.
So it depends on the
think so, too.
individual. It's like if I didn't enjoy this, then therefore
Yeah,
no.
we don't have the luxury of asking the cows that because we don't have that technology.
Right.
That's what I was thinking though, is the consent and approval.
Right. Assuming there's that, it turns out vegans by and large consider breast milk vegan, which is like, what a weird wrinkle to that whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's odd, right? Hey, get all of this. There's a whole channel in the Discord where people share fun facts. It truly is. It's better than Twitter because it's kind of a curated version of Twitter, but then just interesting stories from all around the internet. If you're looking for a good news feed, check out the Get a Load of This channel, the MinnMax Discord, which you get access to by supporting us on Patreon. Anyways, Bouillon shared a story from CNN with the headline, "Woman Presumed Dead Found Alive in Coffin at Her Wake in Ecuador." A 76-year-old woman who was declared dead at a hospital in Ecuador was found to be alive and knocking on her coffin during her own wake. Imagine
I feel like that's one of those situations where you're like, you were too polite to say anything. Or like, you took it too far. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
man, now it's going to be so. Then the more you wait, the more awkward it is. I feel for this woman.
I don't want to inconvenience anybody. I'll just get in this coffin. That's fine.
Exactly. God damn it.
Yeesh. All right. Hey, everybody. I think that's it for this episode of the MinnMax Show podcast. Thanks so much for watching and listening. This is a fun app. Hot app.
Yeah.
Thanks,
it was
y'all.
Great.
Thanks for having
That's what happens when you make people spend 6 days with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Just imagine if we did every episode in person. It would be like this every single week. But
No, because
probably
we
not.
don't have the stories and stuff.
You're
we were
right.
like 2 days away from getting matching tattoos. That's how deep into things we were.
Wow. All right. I love it. Thank you all for going on that adventure. Thanks everybody in the community for supporting this adventure existing. To begin with, thank you all for checking out the travelogue when that eventually comes down the line. But then you can get a sneak peek of it. And to call it a sneak peek is confusing because it's a super extended peek at it if you support us at that Backstage Pass tier. Even just for 1 month, you'll have access to that version that hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Is that the best way to phrase it, Leo, for length here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I'd call it the better version.
Okay, and it includes the Super Nintendo World visit as well. So that'll be available next week if you're at the Backstage Pass tier. So thank you to everybody for that. Let's see. I am out of here, as a genie once said. And so we will have guest house.
Is that what he said?
I think so. Teeny bitty living space. Anyways, so we will have guest hosts for the MinnMax Show podcast. Kyle Hilliard's going to be hosting it for the first month. For the second month, we have a surprise guest host, which should be fun. Next week, we will have another surprise guest host just for that 1 week that I also think will be a fun surprise for folks. Maybe not the most surprising thing, but I think it's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to sitting back and trying to raise a kid and listening. I think it's going to be really fun. And so Party Chat, or Patreon exclusive podcast, that will continue. The main thing that's going away is just Trivia Tower, which we already mentioned before. We're taking a break for a couple months until I return later on at the end of summer, probably September, middle of September, probably be the first Trivia Tower. The whole thing comes back. Janet, you have hot thoughts?
I am looking to revive a very baby version of Trivia Tower via Twitter, so stay tuned for that. I haven't figured out how I want to do it, but basically the idea I'm working through is kind of having it be, I'll pick a day maybe or a couple hours, like it's Tuesday from like 7 to 9 or something like that, right? And I'll be posting a couple questions maybe like on the hour, and like I'm gonna do it where I have the first hint, and then maybe like a minute later I do a second hint. So like maybe the zoom ins can be like that. Ooh. Again, I haven't fully baked the idea. It's very much cookie dough, but it is edible cookie dough. Like you won't get sick from it if you eat it now. But so definitely follow our socials if you're thirsty for what was going on at Summer Game Fest. Instagram.com/MinnMax Show. Pinned as like a highlight on our page, I have every story that we posted during that time. So it's like you can get the mini version, you can get the extended cut if you paid, and then you can get the regular cut later. So definitely just trying to make it so that wherever you follow us, you're getting like us either in a different context or a different version or a different angle. So definitely worth following on all our socials. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got TikTok, and we technically have Blue Sky, but you know, that's like so exclusive that I don't even know how many people are in there. But yeah, come through. The water's fine. I'm trying to blow it up so Ben could be like, holy cow, why do we have 1 million followers? We probably won't get 1 million, but you know, I don't know. I'm gonna have a good time regardless. Yeah. So come through and see the chaos that I reign in.
I will be impressed regardless. Thank you for doing all the Instagram stories and stuff on the Summer Game Fest trip. I hope it was kind of fun, at least, Janet, to annoy
I
people
love doing
with that.
It was like super cool.
Sweet, awesome, sweet. All right, thank you so much again, everyone in the community. There's probably going to be some technical learning curves and stuff, but I think it's gonna go well, and I think it's good for everybody for me to take a step back. I think it'll be fun. And so Leah's gonna be handling Neutral Plus, and everybody else is gonna be tackling different arenas and stuff like that. So everybody be nice in the comments, so help me God. And yeah, it's a real treat, but I'm looking forward to a nice, emotional, rough break. But it's gonna be a fun challenge.
I already consider you a kind of unhinged character in like New Show Plus drafting specifically, but it's going to be fun to see what an unhinged version of that unhinged is.
Yes. Oh my God. I am so looking forward to it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you down the road. Goodbye, folks.